We should be live any moment. I have the thingy up here.
I should.
Of course, just in time for my dogs to bark. It doesn't say we're live yet. I don't like using OBS for this reason because like I can never really know. I also deadass forgot to change the things.
But have you considered that maybe you just didn't click start streaming like me yesterday?
But it
For
says stop
the arena.
streaming.
I'll check. I'm joking because
Uh
that was
huh.
remember that's what
I
happened at
know
the start
that's
of
what
last
you did
week.
yesterday.
Yeah, I need to go over to the Twitch stream anyway, just for the numbers. So, and to see chat.
I'll go to the creator dashboard and change the thingies.
Yeah, we are not currently live.
There might be a lag though. There is often a lag.
Like
Yeah,
this
it can
much
just
of a
do this.
lag? Like a minute long lag?
Yeah, like a minute long lag because we just
Yep.
started.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Come on, Kelly. Yeah, we
Yeah.
just started.
Go? Jesus.
Yo.
There I am. There Leia is. There the stream is still running. Oh, I should click watch
Woo!
then.
Well, if we are live, then we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another week of Doctors and Dungeon Masters. I am Kelly Breivik, PhD student at UWM, and I am the Dungeon Master.
What's up? I am Leia Liebzeller, PhD candidate anthropology. And I play Ash. Fairyweather.
I'm Eric Kirsting. I'm a PhD student at UW Milwaukee, and I play Nor. Nor doesn't have a last name.
That's okay. It's just Nor and Faye. Like it's become one entity, and
We're persons.
Nor and Faye. It's like Nor N with the thing and Faye.
Yup.
Yeah.
And that's Bowie, who is
Bear.
what's her status? Resident
Stressed.
pain in the ass. Yes, stressed. Resident stressed pain in the ass dog that I love, but
Just very high anxiety. That dog just has so much
so-
anxiety.
so much
She's
that
just
I
like,
doubled her anxiety meds and it did nothing, so I just gave up at this
oh
point.
no.
So
Well, has anything changed since you gave up? Like, as you took her off of them, has the behavior
No.
changed at all?
no.
Just
So,
like still the same.
yeah.
I wish I could just give Bo Bear a hug. Just like come
I
over
know.
there and be like, oh, I can't.
Yeah, there's definitely someone outside though, but I mean they work themselves up. So I'm gonna mute myself and let y'all do a recap of what happened last week.
Hot, hot, hot.
Okay. You want to start, and I'll fill in details when I see appropriate.
Sure. Just volunteering Leia to remember what happened last year on D&DMs. Okay, so last week we were really just doing a lot of prep, right? For leaving? That was last week still? Okay. So we did a bunch of prep for leaving, talked to a bunch of people, went to a church to find out about a god, Illuminator. That's not how you, okay. Because Ash wants to contact a god and be like, hey dude, your nuns be cray. And you need to do something about that. And so he's working on how to get that finished and completed. It's going to be probably a few months of work to make that happen, but that's okay. And then we packed a bunch of stuff and we left. And then we had a changeling be like, I'm lucky. And Ash was like, nah, you're not lucky. And I'm forgetting our changeling's name, and I feel really bad about that. River. Okay, cool. In my brain, I was like, their name is Water, but that was not right. It's close, but no cigar.
I was trying to do like the non-binary naming conventions of naming
Sure thing, yeah.
after a noun. So.
And they go by they, right? Okay, cool. I just wanted to double check before.
We did before we left. We met. I think we met with that like church folk, right? And we kind of like convinced them to, or we beseeched them to help us and it didn't go super well.
It went
And-
okay.
Yeah,
It
okay.
was a-
It
I
had a
think
potential
okay is a good way.
connection.
So the thing is that this game has now become bureaucracy 101, and I love that. That is not a complaint in any way. A lot of our adventures are like, this is meeting 1. Now you have to actually in game have the next 10 meetings before they trust you. And I think that that's like that realism for me in a game in which I am playing a noble who is like long game motherfuckers, like, is awesome. I love that. But it is a very different style of play than most people are used to, because it's like, make a diplomacy check. Oh, they love you. They trust you 100% now. And Kelly doesn't run that way. So, which is good because I gave her so much shit about some of that stuff previously. And now she's just like, well, fine. Every meeting. You will have every meeting. And I'm like, do it! Make me do this thing.
I try and have like, enough where like you feel like you gain something from each thing though.
Mhm.
Not that it's all for loss.
Oh, 100%. We found a church that like is cool with housing magical kids and like helping the community and is like, and they're worshippers of
Torm.
Torm. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's Torm, Ilmater, and
Tier.
Tyr, tri god thing that we are
Yeah.
doing right now, and that's pretty cool. Like that first meeting, actually, like that was pretty good.
Yeah.
It wasn't an immediate success, but it wasn't not a success.
It's not a closed door, right? It's
Yeah.
Right, yeah. It's the beginning of what will hopefully be a fruitful relationship for everybody. So
Because I think that Nor will get a lot of good stuff out of that as well, since they're like a community basing that openly welcomes magical folk, and they don't have a lot of space necessarily, but like you do, so you could potentially find both children and potential caregivers through that as well.
well, right. It's like we need somebody to like come and replace the nuns, like actually for real, not just like, changelings that will be there for a couple of months while we do the switchover. But like eventually they're like, unless Nor decides to take over that space as the school,
Hmm.
we will need people to actually run that orphanage, because like the orphanage
Mhm.
does do a necessary service in the city, and so it's like we would need another church to come do that, and the Church of and this particular Church of Torm might be like who we peg to do, like run this space too. So like there's a lot of really cool stuff going on with that. Anyway,
Hmm.
that's all aside. We then went on an adventure.
Yup.
And we are gonna go find the 2 hidden schools of magic from the deep depths of the forgotten cities underground. So I believe we're still traveling, right? We did some
You are
traveling.
still traveling. You are in day 4 of. So, pretty much, you know that it's about 6 days to get to. And then I'm just going to recap because this was like 2 years ago above table time and pretty much in game time as well. But the last time, it was Nor, Boggs, and Franz at the time who traveled underground and encountered the city 3 days before they got to the surface. When they were about to get to the surface, they came upon a dragonborn camp, some of which, an enslaved dragonborn camp by the Inquisition. They freed some of them, but did not go back and free all of them. There was the expectation that they did train some of the free dragonborns to learn how to become paladins and warlocks and pray to higher powers to try and receive powers to eventually liberate themselves. But Nor cannot confirm or deny the current status of it. You did last see Ace and Fernau in the Battle of the Ice Tomb, and she did pass away in the battle, but Ace did go back. At that time, they were not currently totally liberated. They were in the plans, but at that time, there was nothing really done or confirmed at that point, so it was an Inquisition stronghold. You don't know what you're going to be getting into, but you do know the secret tunnel to go down into the mountains. Whether or not that is still safe is another story, but there is that.
And that was like the Ice Tomb was about 18 months ago,
Um,
or
Getting
was it
close
less
to
than that?
there.
14 months?
It was more like 14. 14 or 15
I
months
can't
ago.
I can't remember how much time between Ice Tomb and the Bell to the Mountain, because I feel like it's a lot less
It's like 4 to 6
in-game.
weeks. Because
Okay,
you went
yeah.
back and
So that's
forth a lot.
Jeez, yeah. So that's like not even 12 months then. It's
Mhm.
like might be just about 12 months now.
Well, no, it's been
Oh,
because Fernao passed away at the Ice Tomb battle. You needed like 2 weeks to regroup. Then you spent a lot of time dicking around back and forth in the Feywilds, and then after that you traveled up north even more, and then you started heading east, and in that was 4 to 6 weeks. Then we had our month long, what's it? I mean, not month long, year long pass, and then it's
right.
been
That's what I'm
another
saying.
month
Like
thereabouts at this point.
that's
Yeah.
true.
It's
That's
been
true.
a long campaign. I was actually thinking last night about how I have played 7 builds of different characters among 6 classes. Like,
Jesus.
and over the course of this campaign, only 4 unique characters, I suppose. But
Mhm.
that's a lot of there's a lot of classes, a lot of
Yeah.
builds. It's been a good time, but it has been a long time in world and out of world.
Yeah.
This is the longest campaign that I've had since the I don't know why, but the only campaigns that last any amount of time for me are the ones in which I am generally playing like broken boys. I don't really know why, but like that is like all 3
Hashtag
of my
character
longest
development.
campaigns. All 3 of them have been primarily broken boy territory, which is really fun. Anyway, um,
I sent a Faye mini, by the way, to the chats for you, Kelly.
Yay! Where?
If you want, I can make one for
Oh,
River.
that would be cool.
where?
River kind of
Where?
looks. They've got bronze skin, very tall, kind of like if it was like if you imagine someone with kind of a cross between like Hispanic and Egyptian origin, that sort of tone, and dark hair.
Are you
Um,
still using Tolly
no.
for me? Oh no, that's Ash, right? I'm on the farthest to the left,
Did you
right?
do Facebook? Is that where you sent it?
Yeah, I sent it to our Facebook chat. Yeah.
Word. I'll download
Oh,
that.
okay. Cool.
Um,
Sorry,
but
I
yeah.
didn't think I made one for Ash, and I was confused.
What
That's
was I
okay.
gonna say? Also, with River, like I refer to them primarily by they. They are fine with literally any pronoun because
Okay.
as a changeling, they just kind of go back and forth, and they don't really have a sense of sex or gender because they've, just changed so often that it's kind of
Hmm.
nothing to them. So I will, in general, default to them, but any pronoun is okay.
Good to know.
Yeah, but we forgot the other thing that happened with the big old mob.
Yeah. So this was the thing that was probably the most fun part of the session, but also was perhaps like that kind of like even in a good session, or even like sometimes the most fun things in D&D are not consequential. And so this was like so but we were traveling through the woods, and while keeping watch, Ash noticed that
Fuck! I
there was
completely forgot that happened.
that there was a fire in the distance and smoke in the air, and so they woke up the group, and after a short discussion where Nor was like, "We're heroes, like we have to help." Nor and Faye went to go help with the fire while I want to say Alabaster. I don't know why. Ash and River like hung back and tried to find perhaps the culprits. They managed to find the culprits. We managed to find a mob, and helping the culprits who were being
We didn't
framed.
find the culprits.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
didn't find the culprits, you're right. You found those who were being framed, who were being chased, right, by the mob, who were in fact innocent. And fortunately, due to my Raven familiar, we were able to see that my character was able to know ahead of time that they were like innocent, that we were like working with them. And so Ash did a great job of, like leading them off in the wrong direction. And then I made a giant illusory dragon appear and pretended to slay it in front of the townspeople so that they would believe that the problem had been solved and that they would not continue
I
searching
think that was
for.
actually the most genius part of it all because I was like, all right, once you lead them, they're still going to be searching for these people and there's still going to be these sort of rumors and stuff. But by
Mm.
doing that sort of closure, I'm like, oh man, now there's going to be stories written about this fucking dragon
What I
being slayed by a pitchfork.
what I really want is for is to know what the Dragonborn and this woman think about this dragon like dying in the river. Like, did did they know it's an illusion?
I
Or
think they
do
were
they
too busy like hightailing it out of there. Like their backs were
For
to
sure.
all that, and like maybe they heard like some noise going on, but they were just like, nope, tunnel vision to the
We don't need
north.
to know. Let's just go.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, we sent them over to Ruby's,
Mm-hmm.
and we're
Ruby
starting the
Tuesdays.
plot line um of creating that defensive town, which I'm really excited about. Sorry.
I'm super
So
pumped because that
for
was just like a middle
listeners,
of nowhere town for me, and
yeah.
now it's becoming like, yeah.
Well,
Good.
I tried to use your description. Let me know if I matched it.
That's awesome. Um but
Solid.
she stole Ash's respect. I can't say she stole his heart. um, but she did steal his respect, and that's just as rare actually as stealing Ash's heart. So that's that. And also for listeners, I played in another campaign in which I was able to it had the same storyline but with different characters and plots and stuff, and for reasons, I was able to kind of lay out plans for what I would do in that campaign for Alabaster, kind of farther along. Like that was an evil Alabaster campaign, kind of weird. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
um, was able to lay out some plans for what he would do, kind of end game of all of this, and so now I'm trying to enact some of those things here. Some of those plans are changing, obviously, because I'm playing good Ash and you
Mm-hmm.
know, not trying to do power grabs and be insane. But so that's why I'm excited to see some of those long game things, actually be able to play through them as opposed to be like, hey Kelly, I think he would do this, and Kelly be
Yeah.
like, yes, he would. It's done. Like,
Yo.
um, so that I think that'll be fun. Anyway, sorry, that was a very long recap.
It was, but I like it because it gave a lot of exposition. We did some and end of the I would say end of the semester, end of the session talk, and with this one, and I think that
Mhm.
we should pick up that conversation later in terms of playing the long game D&D, and kind of bureaucratic D&D, and short term versus long term character goals, and how to sort of pace that where it's not too drawn out, but also individually rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's very much like you have to have characters that are kind of here for the long game too, and who aren't too slow in progress, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have Tuesday and Thursday groups that I run, and my Thursday group is very much get it done. That time just moves really fast. Then they
And
get
then
through
pay
weeks.
people to get it done.
Yeah, they weeks at a time will just go by, and some of that was because the campaign they were in, Kelly's in that campaign, but anyway,
Mm-hmm.
the campaign they were in allowed them to travel, which meant several weeks at a time would pass.
Mm-hmm.
Or my Tuesday campaign, who was ostensibly going through the same story, um, their entire campaign was 6 days, and in the same amount of time, the Thursday game got through 6 months. And so you also have to have characters and players that
Mm-hmm.
keep pace, and a DM who can keep pace to do that long game stuff, because you can't do any long game stuff if you spend 6 months of real time of 6 days of game time.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not possible. Anyway, we
But
can pick
yeah,
that up later. Sorry.
it's all good. So it is now day 5, and most of the day passes without issue. You mostly stick to the road, not the road, the forest. Keeping an eye on the road every now and again just to make sure that you're not getting too off path. And what was I gonna say? Day 6 is when you see something peculiar. You see a person dragging a cart. Definitely a merchant sort of person. And you see them dragging a cart that is definitely intended for like to be drawn by horses. And it doesn't look like the. Give me a perception check. And I'm gonna say you're in the woods. You're not like at any risk of being seen. But you just happen to pop out at this point, to check in. And River's
24.
like, "Yo, check this out. Like this looks a little weird. Look at this fool carrying his cart where there should be horses, sort of deal." And Ash, you kind of you squint your eyes and look. And then Eric, do you have Nor send your Raven or?
I'll send the Raven, yeah.
Okay, so give me a bird's eye view for that one while Ash gets the the far off view because it's very far away. Like I'd say it's about 100 yards, so it's hard to see the details.
And do you want me to use the owl stats for my
Yeah,
Raven?
you would get it would be +3 to perception, and you would have advantage.
Okay.
I have an owl familiar in my Wednesday night.
19.
Okay. So Ash, you notice different things, even though you can't see the finer details. You can tell that this carriage is sort of barely held together. You notice the flags that, you notice the color of the flags and that sort of pattern, and like with your sort of like noble history, you know that this is one of the flags that of a caravan that carries things from like far off places, kind of like it's not Tali's Caravan, but it's essentially the Taizhou version of Tali's Caravan. So like if you wanted like rare and kind of foreign goods, it's rare to kind of come across them because they're always traveling. So it's kind of you don't have to interact with them, but you know that if you were to, you could probably pick up something cool that you can't pick up elsewhere unless you pay a very high price to have it imported from another city state. Um, Eric, with your overhead view, you would know, you kind of see that the cart itself is in overall good condition, but there are a couple of, like, kind of marks of struggle, like the beams that the guy is carrying. They look like they've been kind of hastily put together, like they had been broken, and he didn't really have anything to fix it, so he kind of jerry rigged it so that it's put together. It doesn't look like it was a bandit attack. It looks like something large might have broken it um, and maybe scared his horses away or something like that. And now he is just trying and, struggling a little bit because he's only one person carrying a cart that's made for multiple horses. So he's just making his way slowly. You can choose to ignore it, but this is a shopping point if you so choose.
Just looking at my spells, seeing if I can have anything that could help.
And River will give Ash a nudge and go, So what do you see?
Do I know the name of the caravan? Like, do they have a name?
Give me a history check.
Okay. We'll see how that goes.
I need to do a long rest.
That's gonna be an 8.
Something with Taizhou in the name of it. That's all you know.
Yeah. That's just a dude pulling a horse.
Oh, I could have
Pulling a
seen
horse.
that.
Being a bull variant.
That's not a horse. It's a caravan.
That's all in character as Ash goes blah blah blah.
Aren't you supposed
No,
to be
that's
smart?
no, I'm not.
I can't remember what I named my familiar. Anyways,
Me neither. That's why I've been
why
saying
don't
the Raven.
why don't we perhaps just go check on them, see if they face trouble on the road ahead, we may face similar trouble. So should not
Fair.
be a travelers tend to treat one another with kind accord, no?
And
That
Faye will
entirely
go,
depends.
Well, yeah, one traveler really dicked me over.
Reference.
Meaning she got possessed by one of them for several
Oh.
years of her life.
Well, there seem to be a seller of goods.
Can we
So.
appreciate how Bowie's laying down right now?
Yes. Keep laying down. Don't bark.
But I just love the with her neck.
We might be able to mend their carriage for something cool.
Yeah, let's just go talk to them, and perhaps we can help them out. I can always turn into a horse.
I also have mending.
I think I might also have mending, so we could get the job done twice as fast.
Nice. And Faye will go, are we sure that we should be using magic around them?
Well, you figure that out first before you cast any magic. But can't find out standing here, and I'll start walking forward.
Sounds good. So this person, and you would know this from your Raven's eye view. He's probably in his mid-40s. He's human. He's got graying hair that's kind of pulled back in a neat ponytail, and it goes down to just past his shoulders. It's like a full head of hair, so it's like a thick ass ponytail. Not like that matters as much, but I really like. There's this one guy that used to sell at the music store that I used to work at, and he had like the itty bittiest ponytail that pissed me off. Like, why even have it if it's that small? But I wanted to make the distinction that it's like a lush ponytail. Um, He's well dressed. He's definitely taken off some layers because he's just like sweating, hauling ass. He is not someone that typically works this hard, but you can tell that he definitely has good work ethic to want to keep the thing moving, and kind of try and get to the next point rather than kind of abandoning his goods somewhere and trying to just walk to the next town. So he cares very much about the goods in there and safe transport of them. And as you approach, it takes until you're like pretty darn close. And he finally puts the thing down and lets out a big huff and gives you a wave. And he goes, "Do you know how far to the nearest village with horses? Horses
Do
to
we
spare."
Do we
do
know?
we know?
Give me a history check.
Oh, I'm good at those. Wait, well, I guess I'm not proficient, but I do have a
16.
I have a +5.
Mm-hmm.
18.
Okay. Yeah, the both of you know of a couple of villages. You could recommend one that is about half a day's travel by foot. It would probably take him till the end of the day to get there. And it is, he is heading from south to north. You're heading north to south. This one would be a little bit, it would be northwest to get here. So half a day's travel by foot if you were to take it, and you would know that there are good, like not paved roads, but well-traveled roads to get there. There's probably a couple places that are slightly closer, but aren't as well-traveled, so it would end up taking him longer to get there.
I'll relay that information.
Yeah, and he'll nod his head and I'll go, "Thank you. What direction are you heading?"
That way.
And he'll
Whatever.
walk in the direction that he came, and he'll shake his head and he'll go, "There's some great chasms that seem to have appeared in the south in the past few months. I haven't been this way in a while, and I thought I would take this road because it typically is well maintained, but it was vast fields of chasms and volcanic activity, and there was and he tries to search the word for it, and he'll go, not lava, but very hot water that erupted from the ground, and I admittedly ignored the warning signs to travel along the road because I know not the alternate routes, and it scared my horse and it scared my horses rather, and they broke the beams in their hasty escape and wrecked my carriage, lost my horses. So I would heed great caution heading south and keep off the main path once you see the warning signs.
Well,
Thank you.
thanks, friend.
Is there anything we can do to help you?
Uh, I mean, if you have any horses you can spare, and he looks at the horse that Faye is riding, I'll pay you. I'll pay you for the
Oh,
horse.
how far away are we from our destination at this point?
You're about 2 days. It takes about actually no, this is a 6 day, so you're a day. You're about a day's journey away. Um, and it is about 3 days. So once you get to the mountain to go to the city that's in the mountain, so you'll be traveling underground for 3 days. So that'll take you to 10, and then you expect to spend about up to 4 days in the city, searching around and trying to figure things out to make that full 2 weeks.
So would it lengthen our trip very much to give up our horse right now?
No, uh, it's really more at this point for like convenience's sake that you've
Well,
had the horse.
doesn't Faye has a horse?
Right, but if you sell the
Yeah.
horse,
Right, if we give up the horse now.
yeah, because actually, it would not lengthen it almost at all because one you would have to have left the horse at some point. So you anticipated when you brought this horse that you would either leave it with someone along the way or set it
We would
free,
bill it.
or yeah, pretty much, because it can't go underground.
So we're minds of worrying this shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yes, we can spare the horse.
Fantastic.
Based on your flag, it seems you're a tradesman.
Yes.
What would you have to trade?
Well, hold on. Let me just look at the horse cost. Let's see. So a riding horse would be 75 GP, just so you know.
Well,
And,
that's in the best of circumstances, no.
that's true. But I mean, you think Ash would get a half-baked horse?
No, yeah, no.
No, for him, like what it's worth now is not what it's worth when you're in the city.
Right.
I'm
Exactly.
not trying to fleece them, but it's like when you're
No. But
the
I'm
only
saying that's
gas
the
station
base.
for 100 miles, right? It'll be
Absolutely. So yeah, I'm just giving you the base price for negotiating. So that would be
Okay.
considered like an easy, reasonable price.
Gotcha.
And he'll go, well, yes, I have some curiosities from the south. I have a few contacts that bring up some really rare items, gems, and trinkets and jewelry. If you have significant others, if you would like something that is more organic, then I do have some candies from there as well.
Oh my god, do they have toffee? Because that would be hilarious.
You know, well, they have the taffy,
The
the sea
taffy, not toffee. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oops.
Um,
Wrong word.
Yep. So, and then he'll go. I do not have any food from Gio nor Valencia, since food does not last as long as the travels that I have. But I do have some clothes from that area. I'm sure that you won't have much need for Gio winter wear here, but there is nothing warmer yet more flexible than a Gio winter jacket. Or Valencia, they are great farmers. I have many fertilizers from their area and seeds to spare. To
how
make
big is
some.
this cart?
I mean, all these things are like small. So like the cart is meant to
Yeah.
be held by 2 horses. So he's like going at like an eighth of like
Yeah,
walking
yeah,
speed
yeah.
at this point to make it. So the thing it's like 15 by 15. Imagine this particular cart.
Friend, I have heard that in these regions you are traveling from, people freely wheel and deal with magical curiosities.
Give me
The
a. Oh, go ahead.
would any of those happen to have found their way into your inventory?
Give me a persuasion check.
I think Ash is really good at those. Could I have advantage?
I can help.
Yeah, go ahead. You've got a bunch of charismatic. I mean, you got a sorcerer, a bard, and a change. What the fuck? Is it like a 1 and a 2?
It's
No.
a double natural one.
Ooh,
Wow.
that's
You never get
incredible.
double nat 20s. You never get them. You never get double nat 20s with
Unless
disadvantage.
you're Ashley, when you have disadvantage and you double nat 20 that one time, which was beautiful.
I got the double natural ones. I'm sorry for 7 because you can't. I mean,
Yeah.
Well,
Um.
it's okay. We love you anyway.
He will go. Oh, yes. The culture is quite different there, but as you know, it is very illegal here. I would not want to risk myself being caught with such things in my
Do I believe him?
possession. That's the next question.
uh, should I make an insight check?
Yeah.
Ash should make one. They're way better at insight than me. They're the insight lord.
Yeah.
I am an Insight Lord. Insight. What do I think about them? Oh yeah, I need that D4. D4. Come here. Come here, D4. Jesus. Cool. So that's a dirty 20 base, with a 35 total.
Jesus. Yeah, so you can tell that like he is very used to telling this lie. He is very good at telling this lie. You are inclined that, like, even just with thinking of the natural, you know, natural nature, that's awful. The natural dealings with these other places, that he has to at least have something. But his default is to say no. Until and you would guess with that insight that, like, if you're able to show somehow why he should trust you, then maybe that answer will change.
I'll let Ash take over.
Because also with your insight, because he said that, like, and with his insight, you can tell, like, he's not treating the magic or the artifacts as bad. He's just saying, yeah, they have it. They have some wonderful things, but I can't take it here. So you guess that he's magic friendly at the very least.
Okay, cool. In that case, Ash is just like, as Nor is doing that double nat 1, uh, and Ash is kind of looking over the damage, to the cart. He's just gonna cast Mending.
Nice.
That's gonna be his response, as he, like, kind of like in the middle of that sentence, as Ash is getting the sense that definitely he's cool with magic, just like he's not gonna say that to them because of where they're from.
Mm.
Ash will just he will just cast Mending and come over and be like, well, I think we can help with the mending of the cart as well. I don't think it'll take too long, a few minutes or so.
Oh. Well, if that is the case, and he will kind of pull across the cloth covering, and he will go inside his cart for a little bit, and he'll bring out a box that is made out of iron, and
Yeah.
he will open it up, and, like, it's made out of iron, but it's like what's it called? It is like a footlocker almost, and he will, or is that the word I'm looking for? It's like what you put at the end of the bed when you're in the army.
Yeah,
Footlocker, yeah.
Footlocker.
Okay. Yeah. So.
You store the feet you don't use in it.
And he will open it up and pull out several things. The first of which is an amulet that looks to be. It has like a almost a sort of it looks in the sun that it, like, pulses like a heart, but it's not actually. It's just like a really responsive gem. and he will pass it over to Nor and he's not like giving it to you like in terms of like, oh yeah, this is yours now, but like so that you can actually like he's a salesman. You're more likely to buy it if you touch it and you're able to interact with it. And then he will give a different amulet. This one is orange and pulsing in a similar way, but just with a different color, and give it to Faye. And then he will take out a rod, this silver pole, and pass it over to River. Yeah, I know that you probably want that at this point. And then for Ash, because like he looked like this kind of like approachable, nice dude. He will and like charismatic as well. He pulls out this figurine. It's a doll that looks like it's like a rich person's doll, and and he will pass it over, and it's like it's a fancy looking girl with dark hair, tan skin, and dressed in a gorgeous blue dress made out of lace. Um, and he will point to the one that is in Nora's hand, and he will go, this one, this I found in Gyo, from a group of adventurers who got it from a curious place. And what it does is that if you were to encounter almost your end, it'll make sure that you stick around a little bit longer. Nothing tricky about it. It just, if you find yourself dying, it'll make sure that it stabilizes you. This gorgeous orange amulet, well, this one makes you a little bit more sturdy. You are able to withstand more and to be a bit hardier. And you seem like the adventuring sort, and I think that these two will fare you very well. This one, he'll point to the rod in River's hand. Well, this one you press the button right here and it will not move for anything. A good way to block a door or to keep someone where you want them. But this one, and he'll point to the doll, this one is my favorite. I think that you would be the one who would be best suited for this if you were to take it. It changes owners very infrequently because, one second. And as he's talking to you, because he's kind of explained everything at this point, while he says changes owners very infrequently, the doll disappears from your hands and reappears back in his hand. And he'll go, well, this one, it only will come back to the owner if it's given away to a second person. So, for example, if you wanted to sell it to someone and immediately get it back, well, you make the transaction, you walk away, and within 1 to 6 minutes, it's back in your possession. The only way that it would not come back to your possession if they were to give it to a third person, in which case they will find themselves hard to rid of it. So it's essentially a doll that you can fuck around with people with.
Yeah, it's tricksy.
Yeah.
I mean,
do any of these interest you?
So the doll is cool. Like, this is not Ash saying this out loud. This is just like, the doll is cool, but the immovable rod is like, I mean, as a player, I've always like, immovable rod is like the 10-foot pole for me now. It's like, you should just always have one if you can have one, because it just comes into handy, particularly because we don't have any flyers in this game, really. Comes in handy in all the craziest places.
Especially when you're about to do a dungeon crawl.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking here. But he will, so he will. The doll is cool, and I guess. Had you met me in my home, in my home city. The doll may have been the thing I take. But the rod is what I have my eye on.
I
How
mean,
about you, Nor?
Aye. The rod is nice.
I would
The,
be.
what does the orange amulet do again?
It's
Or
it's
is
the
that the periaptive wound closure? I thought there were two amulets.
yeah.
Correct me if
So
I'm
you have the periapt of wound closure, and Faye has the periapt of, sorry, amulet of health, and that makes your con score 19 while wearing it.
Oh wow, that's pretty nice.
Yup.
I mean, I would increase my con by 1 + 1, but it would increase and it wouldn't increase phase at all. So it's not actually that useful for us. But I don't know what's your con score.
I think my con is pretty good, actually. Yeah, my con's already 18. I think my above table, I think the immovable rod is the thing. Like, when we're looking at purchasing only one item, for me, I default to the thing that's going to be the most helpful for the whole team. And I think that the immovable rod is going to be what is going to help the whole team no matter who carries it, while where the other items are very individualistic. Kind of, this will definitely help one
Yeah,
person, but it will only help that one person.
that's true. I think that I think one thing to yeah I agree with you completely. But I think if Nor or Ash had like +1 con score, getting like +3 to their con at the level we're
Mhm.
at would be like gaining like 30-40 HP, right? Uh,
100%. If either of
but
us had like low con, that would be that like that would also help the whole team because it would be like you ain't going down nearly as fast as you were
Mhm.
before.
But yeah, I agree. We don't. It's just not an item that we need. So I go. And the immovable rod should be easier to swing a deal with. It's less valuable in a vacuum than the amulet of health.
Mhm. So here's what I would be willing to do. Um, my main state of operation is in Taizhou, and as you can imagine, there is it's difficult to alleviate myself of such things that I find at other places that I know are of value, but do not spend much time in places where I could sell them. For mending my cart, for giving me a horse, and for letting me know how I could get in contact with you or anyone who might be able to purchase some of these in the future, I would be willing to exchange that rod with no cost, other cost attached. And he's not asking for like, oh, what's your address? But like, if I wanted to get in contact with either of you somewhere, or if you know where I can contact other people, that's what I'm looking for. Or, how can I under the table get these dealings done? And he's definitely looking for legitimate people, not black market style selling. Like he wants to sell to adventurers, he wants to sell to people who want something nice but magical in their house, things of that
So
nature.
I imagine that Ash has something similar to a P.O. box
Mhm.
for these situations where he doesn't want to be like, come to Alabaster Cranes. I was like, where he doesn't want to give the Alabaster Crane name.
Mhm.
But where also he doesn't want to like give a place of residence, and he also doesn't have like a business front,
Mhm.
so he would probably just like pull out a card
Mhm.
and just be like, meh.
Sounds good. And he'll look at the doll, and he'll go, you know, uh, if you have any gold on you, I'd be willing to sell that as well.
Maybe when I'm home.
Well, and he'll wave the card and go, I'll leave a note there, and if you're around, you're around.
I don't think I ever asked your name.
Oh, I am Norman.
Well, Norman, it's good to meet you.
You too. And I imagine you gave your names at some point or some alias at some point during the transaction.
I mean, he'd give Ash because like that's his down home name.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And River will like purchase something non-magical, a nice little like ring that he'll
Yeah.
pocket.
What does he have for jewelry and stuff?
Yeah, I mean he's got a lot of things ranging from costume jewelry to like really nice like sapphires and rubies and emeralds, some quartz. There's like an obsidian one that has like that sparkles rainbow in the sunlight, and then like a diamondish looking one that also like so it's like black or white with rainbow on it. There's crowns, there's rings, there's amulets, and it's
Is-
all and like you could just imagine like if you describe it, he probably has it because this is like his main thing. He goes around and he tries to find things that are very specific to certain locations. So if you wanted to try and find a specific like what was the aesthetic you were looking for?
So the question is, does Tomas have an ear pierced first?
I don't know. I don't think he would. Um, that's not to say that he would not, but like I mean, being a paladin doesn't really call for much ear piercing.
But yeah, he's going for like a probably like a teardrop, something
Uh,
small. Um, yeah, that's
what
but
kind
just
of
one.
Oh, just
Red.
one red.
Yeah, red.
Jesus.
Not anything like too expensive looking. Like something that's kind of like, noticeable, but not necessarily something that's like rubies, because he wouldn't, he's not gonna get anything that's gonna like get Tomas mugged.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Like,
and it's yeah,
but like some kind of stone that looks kind of pretty but isn't like expensive necessarily.
yeah, just like an accent piece, sort
Yeah,
of.
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, he would have it. It would be you said you didn't want a ruby, so probably something like a dark rose color or like a
Sure, yeah.
rosish. So it's like more yeah. So it's a lighter color. It's on a gold backing.
Perfect. Yeah.
And that would be 20 GP if you wanted to get that one.
Hmm. Yeah, okay.
Word.
I can do that.
Sounds good. And then Faye would also what's Nora's favorite color?
I don't know. I guess I never thought about it. Probably we'll go with green.
Sounds good. So she will get a necklace that is on a silver chain with a green small gem on it. It's in like a diamond shape, and she'll pass it over to you, and she'll go for the night at the tavern that we'll get to have eventually, if we're not too busy wrestling. And she makes a T-Rex noise.
Thank you.
And Norman will thank you all for what's it called for helping him out for the business, and looks forward to doing business in the future with y'all. And we'll warn you one more time to listen to the warning signs, unlike him, um, on your travel south.
Thank you, Norman.
And he will happily now sit in his cart instead of dragging it across the fucking country, as Faye's horse carries it, through, and she'll sigh and then look to River expectingly, and Rivers just goes, "I ain't carrying two of you," but then we'll turn into a horse. Because I forget, you're on cat. River's a horse. Nor what were you writing River before that, or
I was writing Diana.
Diana? Okay, so
Yeah,
then
I was on Burr.
right. Yep. Sorry, I thought you were writing the cat, not Burr. So yeah.
So he feels like in his armor and everything that he's a little too heavy for Cat.
Mhm.
Cause Cat's like a big cat, but Cat's not like
Maybe
Ash
once
is
he's full
6'1".
grown.
Yeah, Ash is like 6. Well, I guess he's like 6'3" and like built. Like
Yep.
so, like he's still kind of stringy, but that doesn't mean he doesn't weigh quite a bit in muscle. So
Yep.
he's He doesn't feel like Cat's ready for that. He hasn't done riding training with Cat yet, so doesn't like. I feel like River could try, or like that Faye could try if she wanted, but like
She'll just ride on River because he could horse himself. And you take the road south, and you eventually do come across what he was talking about. There is a sign on the road, and like a fence that's sort of, road closed. You would either have to travel along the, and I'm just gonna kind of tell you what you glean from the sign, rather than the exact words that are on it. But you would essentially have to travel along the coast, and go another 4 days south to get to the closest city, which would be Sangba. And it would take you completely out of the way of going to the mountain range. And in the map that they show, they actually, because there's a map of the area that sort of crosses out the sort of, danger zone, and the mountain where you're looking for is like in the middle of the danger zone. So this takes up, like, if you were like in normal times, this would take up about 3 days worth of travel straight across. So it's a large area that you're being told to avoid.
Well, do we go through or do we go around? Or do we go over?
River nays.
over.
I can do many different flight-related things. Let's check. And so, okay, so I'll just note between Faye and I, assuming, all right, so we both have a 6th level spot and we both know fly. So we can cast fly. So that's 1 hour, or fly's only a 10-minute spell. All right. I can cast polymorph on myself and become a flying creature that could carry at least one person, right? And
River could make themselves a mouse,
I thought fly was 10 minutes. Gosh, it was an hour, not 10 minutes.
I thought it was too.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It's concentration up to 10 minutes, unfortunately. Which is unfortunate because we both know fly. If it was like an hour, we'd have probably a whole day's worth of flying for everyone between us. But polymorph is an hour, and we can like walk until we get to like a chasm, and then I can polymorph fly myself, the mouse, and one other. I don't know if I could.
You also have Cat and Wojtek. But Wojtek is the most expendable because Tomas can just recast Wojtek at home. But you would not have Wojtek for the rest of the thing.
So that makes it a little trickier. Let's see. Do I have any? I don't have any other real ways of helping out here. Well, at least not prepared today. I should actually go look at my entire spell list. Because you have big spell lists. Okay. What do you think, Ash?
Oh shoot! I thought I was muted and I wasn't.
If I was 2 levels higher, I could hallucinate terrain then a mile radius, and then just make it bridges.
As Nora has this thought, what's your passive? What's your Arcana modifier?
+9.
Yeah. Yeah, wouldn't it be great if you could just hallucinatory terrain all of this?
Or Mirage Arcana, Mirage Arcane, which I get at 7th. I could actually, if I was 1 level higher, I could do it.
I think we should just go through and see what happens. We've encountered worse things than chasms.
And I have a lot of tricks up my sleeve for making sure that nobody gets too hurt. I don't actually know Featherfall, but I do know Dimension Door, right? Which I can use to teleport. Like if there's a big chasm, teleport or across, right? I know Fly, I can cast fly on everyone for 10 minutes, right? So presumably we can like travel to a barrier, fly over the barrier, travel to the next thing that we can't cross any other way, fly that, right? So we're, we could maybe do that. I think that'll work.
Yeah, and what are y'all's passive perceptions?
T12.
18.
Okay.
Phase is 15.
Word. So River starts nudging y'all, and that's kind of River's way of asking, and like his they would have told you this at this point, like pretty much asking whether or not you want them to be in horse form or to be in human form so they can scout. If they're in horse form, they have a chance of like keeping Fae out of trouble from any sort of dangers that come from the ground. If they're in scout form, they can scout ahead and warn of overall dangers that might happen. Or you could use your raven, so they're just asking what you would like out of them.
I'm fine with whatever they want to do. I guess that's not perfect, but
Ash also, I mean, he has his jacket on, so we also have some other literal tricks up our sleeve. That way too, like essentially an unlimited amount of rope and like other things. If Kelly allows me to consider a ladder a mundane item, cool. If not, that's also fine.
But does it fit out of your pocket? Like, are you able to pull it out?
I mean, we have historically done things that can't actually fit in a pocket or out of a pocket.
But
So it's
everything's
up
been
to you.
like smallish, like bag size. Like you could fit like a mug, into a bag, but you can't fit like a ladder into a bag. So I would say you could have a lot of rope, but
We
not.
once did like an 8-pound steak out of a pocket once. That's
Yeah,
okay.
but I would say you could get a big steak at. You could like. If you could fit it into like a goodie bag coming home from a fucking restaurant, yes, but like
Okay.
a ladder's pushing
Anyway,
it.
I figured, but I thought I would,
Uh-huh.
see.
Yo,
No harm in asking, okay? Okay.
there's
okay.
harm to me. I'm kidding.
right back.
But yeah, so River will stay in horse form. And yeah. So y'all are you proficient in survival, Ash?
My proficient, yes.
Okay, give me a survival check.
Well, that's gonna be a 16.
Okay. You start making your way through this allegedly dangerous area. You don't encounter any chasms yet, but as you're walking through the field, there are geysers that spit up scalding water that you pass by. It's like one every couple 100 feet or so, and you're like, ugh, this. I do not want to get caught up in that. So you're taking great care to avoid any sort of places that look like they're, wetter or that the ground looks like it's kind of crumbling away, because there's the geyser underneath. And you look off into the distance in the direction that you know that what was I going to say? That the mountain range that you need to get to is in. And instead of seeing mountains, you see volcanoes erupting in fire and lava.
Awesome. Well, where is this place, Nor? Where's the entrance to this place?
The terrain has changed a lot since I last came by.
Yeah, this looks nothing like what you last saw.
But it should be. I have a +5 intelligence and a good old +9 investigation. Maybe that helps me discern, at least intellectually, where it should be and how to get there from here.
Okay. So what kind of check? What do you look? So tell me what you're looking for exactly.
So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to like discern, okay, yes, things have changed, but this was like there was like an entrance to this place in this area. where would that entrance? I know that the layout has changed, but if the entrance has not changed or the entrance is still in the same spot, can I remember? Can I like reverse engineer where it should be based on where we're at?
Okay, give me an intelligence check, or history if you're proficient in it.
14.
So looking in the direction, like you know where to get there. Like the terrain change, you can get there no problem. But the issue is there's literal like seeping lava volcanoes, and you worry that this particular entrance is just lost in a way. Because like how can you get in if it's seeping with lava? If you maybe dimension door, if you get close enough in dimension door, is the inside now lava as well, or is it protected? That's something that you're not sure about yet, because you're still about half a day's travel from there. It's currently midday. You could probably get there by nightfall.
I think we go to where I think it should be, and I imagine it might be a little complicated getting in, more than we imagined. But but I think we can figure it out from there. But I think I need more details.
Well, let us go.
All right. I need a survival check out of Ash again.
That's gonna be a 12.
All right. I need a D12 roll by everyone, including Faye. I'll roll for River.
Okay. Oh wait, do I really wait? Where's my blue D12?
Dose.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I roll 10. Faye rolls 9. But I'm missing a D12.
Okay. And you said you rolled a 2, Leia?
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you travel for another hour, trying to avoid these geysers, and there are chasms, but you're able to make your way like around it to, it doesn't delay you too long. And as you're keeping an eye, making sure that you don't get too close to the edge, Ash, you step onto a loose piece of earth, and steam immediately erupts out of it and just kind of tears at your leg, and you take 22 points of fire damage.
Fuck, man.
Ouchies.
Jesus.
Yep.
Check.
Even though we didn't like it. Well,
Yeah, y'all. Ash like screams out loud. And falls over like way more dramatic than you probably have ever seen him before, as he nat ones that composure check.
Oh my god. Yeah, River's
Yeah.
head snaps over to you, and the horse form, you just hear like out of the horse, and yeah. Or I don't know if you were on Wojtek or not at that point, but we're just gonna say that one of you stepped on it and the steam hit you.
Probably he is not on Wojtek right now, only because we're going through pretty particular terrain, and so it's more like if he's doing the survival check and trying to like check on things, he's probably on the ground.
Okay.
Like that's like if I'm scouting essentially, he would not be on Wojtek currently.
Word.
But yeah, as he takes 1/5 of his health just like to the
Jesus.
face. Well, so 1/6, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But still.
Wojtek and Kat immediately start like nudging you, like, "Oh my God, Dad, are you okay?" The things that animals do.
Yeah. He will get himself together pretty quickly, but like that initial shock definitely like.
Yeah. You still have about 4 hours worth of travel, so it'll be 4 more survival checks to do that.
Right, well,
Would you
let's
continue
see.
the same way or differently?
I mean, if the same way seems like, he just needs to pay attention, then also that's a nat 20 on that survival.
Nat 20?
So that's, yeah.
Nice.
So that's going to be a 29.
Yeah.
And then a 17.
D12 out of
And
everyone. Pause. We're going step by step. So the next hour passes without issue. Ash takes a lot of care that time.
Oh, la, la,
la 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 la.
la. All right, so Nor gets an 11.
Mhm.
Faye gets a 4.
So close. Yeah, so Ash, you were stepping, carefully in that second hour. And River sees you approaching, because you both rolled the same thing. Um, sees you approaching more loose earth, and they rush forward to try and stop you, but they're a little too late, and you step on it, and you both take another 20, well, this time 23 points of fire damage.
Fuck, dude.
As you step on a geyser and just get blasted.
No, I understand that. I
We understand
understand
what's happening.
why.
We just
Uh-huh.
I
don't
just
like it.
it's
Mhm.
just a lot because he's almost bloody now.
Uh-huh. And River goes out of horse form with that, actually, so one second, I need to add back a couple more points to them. And they kind of step back and look down at their clothes, and they're like seared a bit. They're not like burned away, but they're definitely not not perfect looking anymore. And they kind of rub at their leg, wincing. And they'll look up at you and go, I could cure you a little bit, but I don't have that much magic in the day."
Let's just keep going. The longer we
Yeah.
stand here, the more geysers are going to blow us up.
All right.
I'll be all right.
Ash, maybe you're spending a little too much time trying to navigate. I'll take the next one, okay?
Okay. Give me a
By
survival check.
I have +2 to survival.
Can I aid, please?
Sure.
It's more a flavor because you're right. You're leading and you keep getting blown up, but
Yeah.
nobody else is.
Yep.
2 and a 1, so 4.
Let's get some D12s, everyone. This
All
is
right.
the 4th hour, I believe.
Well, at least I got a 9 this time.
Now watch everyone get 10, 11, 12.
12,
Probably.
12
Yeah,
for Faye,
for sure.
2 for Nor.
Okay.
Thank God.
Yeah, this time
I've been
Nor
wa-
takes
I have
the
been
point.
waiting. I have been waiting for Faye to get it because she has absorb elements.
Rip.
She can reaction. Oh no, I don't want to take that damage. Can I reaction shield this?
No, because it's like a area of effect style thing.
That's fine. I thought
Um,
it doesn't hurt to ask. Was my thought.
You take 25 points of fire damage as you step on another geyser.
Good old 1/3 of my HP.
Jesus.
I rolled for HP for Nora, and she did not roll well. She has 75 HP.
Oh my god.
For context, Faye has 110.
Jesus.
And
And for a level 12.
She's a wizard. I mean, they have the worst hit die, right?
Yeah.
Faye also has that draconic ancestry thing that the draconic sorcerers get, where they gain extra HP per level. But
I have
alas.
a beefy wizard at level 5. He's got I think 46 HP.
This is by the way, this is a 75 with a +3 con.
Oh my god.
So it's not like I have no
That's
con.
bad.
I just I don't have very much health from dice. But it was fun. It's fun to be a little wimpy wizard. I think I actually lost HP from level 6 to level 12, going from warlock
Oh my God.
to
Jesus.
Damn.
Yeah,
Uh,
having that 6 levels of fighter definitely boosts because I have 122.
nice.
Nice.
Well-
Granted, I also have a solid con, but like,
Why don't you do the survival check? Nora will say it is hard to lead the group. I won't deny it.
Yeah, so you are getting pretty close to this mountain. You are what's it called? It's more difficult to find places to safely walk because there's like little cracks in the earth, and you look down and you see lava in the ravines, and you could feel the heat on your face. Like you all probably at this point had to like delayer to some degree, and like yeah, you could still keep your armor on, but like you took off like any other extra stuff on your person
Hmm.
to
Cloak is
accommodate
like
the heat.
wrapped. My cloak of many fashions is wrapped around my
For
waist.
sure.
I look like a '90s kid.
Yup. Oh, God, that aesthetic.
It was beautiful. It was a beautiful time.
I agree. Just the grunge. Yeah, River somehow tanned during this experience. And you try and make it to the last hour to this bubbling volcano that's just oozing lava. And you could see off in the very distance, Nor, just because like you may not have the best perception, but between sending out your raven and also just knowing the area a bit, you look for like where the camp used to be. Go ahead.
Oh,
What?
it was from way earlier in the session. Dumbest thing about Dungeons and Dragons, hands down. The Raven has the same intelligence modifier as an owl. What the fuck?
Yep.
Ravens are smart. Ravens should be at least a 3 out of
Actually,
4.
ravens have the same amount of intelligence as human beings, so actually, technically, ravens should have base 8 to
10.
10.
Yeah, if I have a 20, my Raven should have a 20. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry. Continue. That was
Um,
something that I thought of and then rethought of because I looked it up in this session.
you send them out, and you do not see the camp where it used to be. Um, like it's just not even there. There's no signs of it being there anymore ever. Give me a perception check through the bird.
Natural 20 for 23.
Shit, I won't even roll for that one. So scouting around, um, around the area, because you're doing a sweep of the area, like where was this, like this was another entrance, like you were looking for like maybe the main entrance, because the side entrance was pretty tucked away, and given how like lava filled this place is, maybe like the bigger entrance might be the better way to go. And you notice all the things that I said before, but then this time you recognize, give me a history check.
7.
um
I rolled a lot of ones and twos.
Yeah, incredible.
That was a 2.
Incredible. So you don't recognize this particular dragonborn, but there's something familiar about them. They're on the smaller side. You could kind of guess that they're probably like teenage-ish. And they're skulking around the mountainside, not as if they're not bothered at all by the lava. Like anytime they get close to it, they'll just easily leap over. Like they are not fearful of this whatsoever, and they seem to be scouting the area like a sentry in a way. And they just navigate this with utter ease.
Well, up ahead there's somebody. I don't know what they're doing, but they might be guarding this place or something. Might be a good person to talk to.
They said there
Um,
was a enslaved dragonborn camp here, yes?
There used to be. There wasn't when we left. Right?
Wait, so I thought they hadn't freed everybody.
they hadn't freed everyone. You freed about like a quarter of the dragons that were there.
So
Oh,
that
Trained them
that
and then
camp
sent
is
them.
still there, right?
okay.
Yeah,
I
they still
thought that
have
we
it.
had freed all the Dragonborns. Okay. Well, I guess, a pit stop to free some Dragonborns from Inquisition hands seems right up our alley.
Very true. Let's go spill some red blood.
Now, just to note, with the location of you to this Dragonborn, you would need to have some way of getting across a very large chasm. It is about 200 feet across. It is quite deep, and going down means a quick, dip into the lava. Um, Now, that's not to say that it's impossible, but there is that sort of barrier there.
Faye will cast 5th level fly.
Um,
Everybody gets a fly.
are you approaching the chasm?
Yeah, once we get to the chasm, like you asked for a way to get over it. We have a flying speed of 60 feet for 10
Oof.
minutes. And
And
so Faye can at when you cast it at 4th level or higher, you can target an additional creature. So wait, if they cast it at 5th,
pause.
they can target 2 other creatures, and then I'll just cast it at 3rd level on myself.
Just pause for a second because as Faye starts to cast, 1 second.
I will counterspell some fucker's counterspell if I
I
need
mean,
to.
we're like
Well,
around counterspell doesn't have that big of a range. If somebody's
it does not.
counterspelling,
It does
they're
not.
like, they have to be right next
But
to us.
1 second. I
Are we
just have
that
to
blind?
do. This
Where's
is
your
a high roll.
passive 18 perception
Hey,
ass?
stealth. I have to do math because they rolled a
Oh yeah,
lot higher on this than I anticipated.
they have to roll if they're going to counterspell at 3rd at least. A
That's
15.
fine. Faye takes 41 points of damage as an arrow flies from within the chasm up into her.
From down there?
Endless chasm beneath us. Someone shoots up.
Yeah, that's like kind of like the most because you don't see anyone out
Does
there.
she get off the spell, or is it like the spell is like
Have her
a
make
reaction?
con check. The DC is 20 with the damage. I'll lower it more. DC 15.
So this the DC. So like this is she casts a spell. We're flying.
No,
Or we have the ability to fly. I'm trying to understand.
so
And
we could say she gets it off, but she will have to make a DC 20 con save.
I mean, I'm okay if she doesn't get it off. I just want to know what happened, so that are we flying? But
You
all
will
right,
be flying, not over the chasm, in case she drops it.
she has proficiency in Constitution saving throws, and she has Warcaster. So this should go.
Nice.
No, nope. It's 5 and 6. Fuck me.
Fuck.
So that's a 6 plus 8. So that's a 14. So she does not maintain concentration.
Yeah, so you start to lift off the ground, and this arrow just comes from out of nowhere and slams right into her shoulder, and the spell dies.
All right.
And
Roll for initiative, or are we just like
yes
free?
and no. Well, there will be another thing in. Faye will relay this to you, and she will look like kind of startled, and let's just have her do like a quick composure check. Oh yeah, she nat 20 that. So I mean, because here's the thing, this is Faye's first adventure since recovering from her trauma. So like she's able to maintain her composure this time, and she'll turn to you and she'll say, I heard a voice that says, turn back, and no harm will come of us.
I'm going to walk towards the mouth of the abyss in front of us, and I'm just gonna say, "What the fuck? You got a death wish? Just come talk to us."
Give me a persuasion check.
Can you have advantage on
This
that?
is 3 nat 20s on a row on this die. Where the fuck was this when I was trying? Go ahead.
All I'm saying is that actually they should have, like, I don't know what the changeling stuff does, but y'all, like, both y'all should be rolling with advantage on stuff, right?
Oh yeah. I forgot. I specifically equipped that. So most of the time I've had advantage and just been rolling terribly. But I'll roll advantage on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Natural 20, 26.
Hey.
So it did go up, which is funny. It was already a 16. So, but our 16 plus 6, so 26 total.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they'd be rolling if I'm just, I don't know.
They're doing a perception check.
Okay, perception check. I'm trying to be perceived, just in case you're wondering. I am not trying to be hidden. I can just throw up a shield if they shoot something at me. And I can always just jump down, and then right when I'm about to land, blink my left eye.
And then you will hear there's a pause, and you hear from, not from the chasm, it's kind of hard to see, it's just from some ambiguous kind of area in front of you in this chasm. Is that Ash?
Ah, do I hear it too, or is that just
Yeah,
Nor?
it was shouted out.
Oh, you might,
Ash is gonna walk up to the edge of the cavern with his arms crossed.
and I'm gonna changeling shift into the bugbear that I
That
want that saved the bunch. You might know me by used to look like this. I used to look like this.
um and
Why
then
a bugbear?
you'll hear, "Wow, that's awkward. I'll be back." And then you're just kind of pat, 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 pat. And you're just left there for like 10 minutes.
Dragonborn are so incompetent.
I'll
I think he's just gonna.
Faye's wound is, she doing okay?
Yep. So what do you do in the 10 minutes that, like, you're given no context, but like you're just told, "Oh, I'll be right back."
Oh, well, I'll take the arrow out of Faye
Uh-huh.
and patch her up a little bit.
Sounds good. Um
Yeah, this party basically has no healing anymore, so
I
that's
mean,
cool.
River has how many cure wounds? They're a level 2 druid. Let's see. They will have 3 cure wounds to give to spare. So they'll give 2 to Faye and 1 to Ash.
I think this party's got the old Yeller strategy. If anyone's looking really bad, Faye's
Okay.
gonna disintegrate. Just see ya.
Uh-huh. But
Yeah.
Faye heals for 15. Ash heals for 4. Um, those 2 high rolls followed by a low roll. And you start like kind of patching each other up, and River's like, "What the fuck?" And you see across the distance. Ash, you would recognize this as Ace, the young dragonborn that was kind of a childish size the last time you saw him, and in a somber mood because it was him and Fernao that made their way up to the ice tomb, but only he that came back.
Mm.
And but here's something that's really odd. He just leaps across, like almost like he has fly, and he takes a bounding leap across this chasm and lands right in front of you. And he'll go, "So how do you like the illusions?"
What is just all of it illusions?
Yeah.
Just the whole bit?
Mhm.
Jesus, you kids.
I mean, it's how we
Pretty
keep
good.
everyone out. You didn't investigate it? Like, you didn't think it was weird that this all just kind of sprung up in the past year?
Look, we live in a time where when comets fall to Earth, I can now do fucking magical things, so no. I just assumed it was another strange, weird anomaly.
Here, here, here. And he'll like kind of reach up and grab like your face and kind of turn your head like in the chasm and go, "Look, it's fake. Give me an Arcana check."
That nat 1, baby,
Oh
is
man.
a 5. That's a
Yeah,
5.
it still seems super real to you.
I mean,
Like
Ash is
you
gonna.
know, but it's still like,
Yeah, Ash is gonna do a deceive check, and with that, like, a lot, 25, is just gonna be like, yeah, totes fake.
does Nor want to do an Arcana check?
Sure. That'll be a 23.
Yeah. So as you are kind of told that it's fake and you actually look at the sort of arcane nature of it, you can tell that this is all like hallucinatory terrain and illusory magics across this entire place. And as you investigate it, it sort of just disappears all around you. The chasms, the geysers, the volcanic eruptions. It is all fake, and you see the countryside, the green rolling fields and the forest around you, and you look to the side of the mountain, and you see where the camp is now, but it's definitely changed since the last time you saw it. It used to be barbed wires and these kind of temporary structures used to house the slaved dragonborn. And now that has been demolished and instead a large wall made from stone and pewter structures are built at the base of the mountain, and you could see the start of buildings being carved into the mountain's side. And you realize that the Dragonborn did free themselves from the Inquisition, and are working on building their own sort of city here. And they're doing it under the protection of keeping others out for a large radius so that they can continue uninhibited.
All right. Well, it looks like you've managed to break free of the old red spittle.
Yeah, not gonna lie, it's pretty great. Um, I don't know how all this works. I just let Bartholomew deal with it. He's the the and he kind of does the little like prayer hands and will motion for you all to follow, and he'll go. You guys look pretty rough. You're looking to spend the night?
Maybe, but is it getting kind of late now?
Yeah, it's probably just about dinner time. This would be around the time that you would be setting up camp.
Yeah, we could spend the night with you. We're hoping to go deep.
Into the mountain? Why?
Yeah. Uh, got some questions that need answering.
I mean, are the questions are where are the gems? Because we answered that and found them.
Nope, not about gems.
Okay.
About ancient magics yet to be discovered.
Well, that sounds like a lot of stuff I don't care about, but I can at least get you a warm meal.
And I can help you with anything that I can help you with.
Okay. Um, well, you want to help me prank Bartholomew?
Sure.
Cool. And he's like, his face lights up immediately because he wasn't expecting you to say yes to that. And he'll motion for you to follow. And he walks with a bounce in his step. Ash and Nora, it probably feels good to see him like looking so sort of like well put together now, and kind of recovered in a way. Um, and as you pass through the threshold into this kind of nascent city, there's a very large statue of Fernao, and the plaque has her name and describes her as the first free dragonborn of this city who fought and died to free others. And you make your way into the heart of this small, I call it a city because just looking at it, you know that this is the start of a city. It is definitely going to become something of worth and something of notoriety. But right now, it's got the population of a large village, because there were about 100 dragonborn slaves here, and it seems like they have accrued some people. It's mostly dragonborn here, but there's a couple of other like magical race people here. You notice some flying Aarakocra up in the higher parts of the city. Like they're the ones that are living in the mountain face, as opposed to on the ground. And Ace will bring you to his house, and he's got his own little home, and he has some stew that was in the pot from probably, you just reheat it over a few days, and he will put it, kind of stoke the fire a little bit, and it's a small home because typically it's just him,
Mm.
but it's there's plenty of space to have like bed rolls and stuff put out. Like he'll move the what little furniture he has and clear out a space in the living room for you all to sit down, and he'll pour some water and some stew for you all. And then, sorry, the one last thing of note is it's primarily like stone and gem and coals that they're working with. But the thing that is of great note because I don't think you've really seen this before, is there's a whole orange tree orchard that takes up like the whole like west side of the city. Um, like it's their sort of their main export. And he will sit down and go, what have you all been up to? Ash just looks happy.
Uh
He's grown up.
oh fuck, did Ace know Joy? No, Ace did not know Joy. Okay,
Nope.
good. Don't have to explain that to anybody.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I don't know. That's lots has happened. We're back in Taizhou now though.
Cool. Did you clear up the red coat problem?
We're still working on it.
What's taking
Big
so
problem.
long? We got rid of this in like 2 weeks.
Well,
Yeah,
there's a
well,
lot more of them. A
you had a
lot more.
small contingent to deal with.
True.
It is essentially the same level as the zombie horde in Taizhou now.
No. Um, you need
But you
help
know,
with
with
it?
brains. Maybe. Um
Cause like we got our stuff here, to deal with. And I can't speak for everyone, but like, you know, you guys helped us, so
we would at least maybe like to talk to. Do you have leaders or is it more of a egalitarian?
we have some leaders. People look up to Balthazar a lot. He's kind of like the one that helped make the terrain. So, like people, and he's smart, I guess. But everyone kind of does what they need to here. Everyone, I don't know. Like, we don't really know what we're supposed to be doing. We just know that we're doing what we want to be doing.
That is what you're supposed to be doing.
This perhaps is a space to send people to would be good. Other
Yeah,
magical folks.
Balthazar says that, the more the merrier, because we got this whole place that can just, it's really protected. And, well, if we have people that, like, grew up and lived in cities and stuff and know how to, like, run stuff, like, that's why he really likes the Aarakocra. They lived with people for a while and, like, watched what they did. So they're helping us learn how to make a bank and to, like, write stuff down, like, preserving information, I think is what they call it. I don't know why, because, like, I remember stuff, but I don't know why we gotta write it down.
So that when you pass away, no one forgets. They can read about you and all that you have done.
But why read when we got the statues?
Both are good. People learn in different ways.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself with that one. I suppose. I just don't like reading that much, but I guess, you know, I don't know everything.
There may be
I'm
other
just really
camps.
good at shooting your friends. I'm sorry about that, by the way. I'll turn
Yeah,
to Faye.
you should be.
It was a good shot, though. Like, I am sorry that it happened to you, but I'm not sorry at how good I did it. And Faye will smile, because, like, in a way, Ace reminds her a lot of the kids at, the school who are, like, genuinely good people, but also don't know, like, decorum yet. And Ace very much is that. And, Ace will go. Um, So if you want help going underground, like we got some people who could lead you to like the bigger parts because the mines a lot of places collapse because we've honestly been digging a lot of stuff. We've been trying to get all the resources so that we can like sell it or something and buy stuff with it. I don't know, it's weird. Um and unfortunately some of the tunnels that we used to work with collapsed, but we know some ways to get to, you know, the weird, vast underground, and we don't really want to go that deep. Like, too many of us died down there, and we're not really inclined to have more. So we're trying to build up top instead.
I'll take any help you want to give.
Yeah. So we could at least get you down to, the big part. And that's what they call it, the big part. Anything that's not the immediate underground that they could use to mine is part of like the mountain, but then they'll say the big part for stuff that is beyond that. Um, yeah. And he'll tell you about like all the things that they sort of are doing. Ace is not someone who is like, you would think that you're getting the most reliable information, but you're getting honest information. And from the sounds of it, they're like at a point where they're just building and trying to learn and trying to develop skills. But one thing that Ace would definitely do is to ask you to keep spreading this rumor that he came up with, and he's actually super proud of it. This is probably the biggest thing that he did to contribute to this particular city, and it just started out as sort of trolling, and it became actually something that was of use. Um, when he first encountered people in the surrounding areas, he started the rumor that if you carry an orange peel with you, it would deter magic people from wanting to interact with you. And so people started buying oranges, and now they are planting lots of oranges to sell to the local areas because they can sell it at a high price. So if you continue spreading that rumor, they will continue to be able to overcharge for oranges because people scared of magic users think that having some on you will keep them away.
And they're
That's
right.
hilarious.
Yep. Yep. So Ace
Right.
is super proud of that.
I'll have to remember to spread that rumor when we meet some people. Darn, when I played Hero the other day, I could have said, and remember, always keep your orange peel on you.
I love it. But yeah. So if you want to help, we don't have to play through it. But if you want to continue to help Ace prank Balthazar, all he's going to do is sneak to his house because Balthazar is currently like, just doing stuff around the camp. But all he wants to do is have someone like just look out and make sure no one's looking while he slides a picture of the middle finger under his door and runs out.
I'll cast invisibility on him. And wait, I don't know if I have that spell prepared today. I do. Cast. I
Yep.
said he for him to do it.
And then he runs in, runs out. It's a harmless little prank. And that'll be that. Is there anything you want to ask or do while you're here, or do we want to say you short rest and you get a scout in the morning to head down?
Only a short rest.
A long rest, sorry.
Okay, I was gonna say.
I would ask if
Oh, and then
Kelly,
if you wanted to get food and rations as well, because you're probably getting a little light right now.
I thought we prepared enough rations for the whole journey.
You did, but you're going underground. You never know, and could be helpful.
I would ask if they have anything heavy that they need lifted.
Mm.
Because I have a telekinesis I could burn today.
Nice. So then, yeah, there's a large tree that fell, and they were in the middle of chopping it so that they could make firewood out of it. But it like they there's a better place it could be. So like if you were able to move it somewhere else so that they can chop it somewhere else and continue to do their work in the area where the tree has fallen, then that one would help.
I'll do that.
Yep.
Yeah, I have nothing that can help with that. But Ash would be more than happy to just kind of like go around, see the city, like
Mhm.
what they're doing and figure out how they can use oranges both as a like his biggest thing is actually like the first thought he had with those oranges is that they can be code for getting in.
Mhm.
Um and so like using it as both a deterrent and like a signal that allows you to come in would be great because if you're carrying around an orange peel, you can tell the Inquisition, see, I don't like magic users, and also have something that says, well, it's a whole orange and, isn't the weather nice today, or some, like some code word or something.
Yeah.
Um,
So then Ace would send you off to Balthazar's, and like you'll wait until later in the evening, and we don't have to play it out the entire conversation out
mhm.
for this. You would get that Balthazar is a very austere person, very stern. He's like a grandfatherly presence, even though this guy is probably like the equivalent of 30 years old. Um, Definitely cares a lot. He oversees, is sort of like a shepherd to the herd here, and just making sure that everyone is well taken care of. Everyone has their needs, and he's not necessarily telling people what to do, but trying to guide them to their goals. And if he knows someone is good at doing something and something needs to be done, he will ask if they are able to do it.
Okay.
And
Given
finally,
that, Ash would probably be like half Alabaster Crane for this
word.
conversation.
And so if he would be more than willing to kind of have a conversation about how to get people here that are in need, but he does not want to be sending them through the hallucinatory terrain because, as you could see, it is quite deadly. So instead, he will give you a bunch of different local markets outside of the terrain area
Okay.
that people can go to, and if they do that in that way, they will be escorted back to here.
Okay.
Um, and he'll ask you about like kind of what the goings on in Taizhou are, just to kind of see what life is, excuse me, outside of this region. He seems to have his eye more on Sangba than Taizhou, because Sangba is another large city like Taizhou but much closer, because Taizhou's a week away. Sangba from this point is only 3 days away. So
Gotcha.
they're currently trying to find ways to get some strongholds and ferry people in need over here instead without arousing too much attention. So,
Okay.
yep.
Mm.
Anything else or
No.
word? And you would see like this. It's kind of this place is a little uplifting to look at. It's nice to see kind of history in the making. It's not very well organized, but you can tell that there's a lot of kind of want and will to grow, and with some direction as they kind of come to their own understanding of what they want, it will develop to become quite a nice place.
Yeah.
Nor towards the end of the day when you're getting ready for bed, you get a sending from Hanai, and it says spoke to Hawk earlier today, and Hawk is the PI that you had find Faye's siblings, and you know that there's like a monthly meeting where someone reaches out to or goes to Hawk's place in search of like any leads on kids that might need a home. So that's her role there. Saw on
Hmm.
her desk she has a case to find Arya. I did not say anything. Not sure what to do. That was 25 on the nose.
So she's been hired by a PI to, or so
So,
somebody has hired her to find Arya.
yeah.
Well, we give Hawk a ton of business. So Faye will reply, Hawk is trustworthy. Ask who's looking, ask why they care, and get Arya's opinion. But don't worry. But just don't make Arya do anything she doesn't want to do.
And you'll get a sending back right away. And she'll go, Arya's dad hired her. I poked for information without letting her know what we were doing because I wasn't sure at the time. If okay.
Oh, sweet Hanai. Your questions already gave Hawk all the information you held back.
Yep.
No worries. We can trust Hawk. But something to talk to Arya about. You can wait for me to get back or talk about it No, with her.
Okay. And the last sending. Okay. I'm going to wait until you're back. I'm not that good at this stuff. Be safe. Hope you are well. Love you. Bye. Doing the right thing.
Yeah, sounds good.
Ash will, like, at the end of the night, also sending back to Tomas and just be like, "Sup, alive."
You'll actually, I think this is cute. So you'll hear Tomas start to talk through the sending stone, and you hear, just kind of like, his voice, and then you'll hear, like, this sort of grabbing of the telephone, and Paul, hi Ash, how you doing? We were just about to, and then like Paul just rips through all the words while Tomas is like trying to like grab him and like stop him from using up all the words. Um, and then it sounds like they were in the middle of like doing some sort of training to maintain concentration on cantrips. And yeah, and then you hear because you get to do a sending back with that, and Tomas seems to have wrestled it out of Paul's hands and starts to like give you a greeting, and then Paul's voice dominates the background as he continues to tell this story, and Tomas gives up halfway through. And that's the sending.
Oh my god.
Yup.
Yeah, he will just say, oh man, what would he say back? Best story of the day. Keep it up.
Nice. Yup. The overeager Paul. So yeah, you all have a good rest that night. Ace makes some breakfast in the morning, but it's just bread and some stew because that's literally all this kid can make. Um, but it fills your bellies, and he arranges another scout to go down into the mines with you, and it takes about 2 hours of travel to get through all the places that have been explored by them. Nor you recognize that you're on a different path right now than what you took to get in here, because the paths that you took to get here were
Then
yeah. However, give me a survival check.
12.
You're confident in their ability to get you to a area that is close to where you were, even if you don't recognize this particular place yourself. It is pitch black right now for those without dark vision. It is not a fun time, so
I'll cast light on. I don't have a staff or anything. I'll cast light, on my hand.
Okay.
I have light up. Something is light.
Okay. So you all, I'm gonna go. Oh wait, now I can finally go live with what I was at. So eventually, you do cast light, and you are.
Eventually, I mean, the second I can't see, I'm
I know.
casting
Okay,
light.
so sorry. You
I
cast
hope
light.
not.
You walk around. Give me a survival check now for the place that you eventually get into.
Ash could lead this. They're better at
Yeah,
survival.
because he did so great finding all the geysers.
Well, that
Hey,
was
that
I
was
know,
not
that
my
was-
survival.
D12.
That was a D12 and does not count. I got a nat 20
was
and still
based
got
on your-
23 points.
You didn't get a nat 20 on that one.
That's
You-
true.
you gotta
Anyway,
pass that time.
that is 24, so whatever. It's cool.
Yep. So Ash, you were able to because Norval sort of described the sort of things that that she remembers, the sort of material that the rock was made out of, the sort of characteristics of the smell and the spaces, and you use that to get yourself back in the right direction. So like you can imagine that you are on track to finding this city. You are confident that you are going in the right way. You find yourself in this large cavernous space. The everything is made out of stone and rock. The ground is uneven. It's all dry right now. The air itself is also it's not damp like one would expect from some caves, and there, it's not slippery. It is dark with the exception of Nora's light, and you are surrounded by these narrow passageways, and these stones that are fairly sheer. They're not totally, not climbable whatsoever, but you would have to, um, you know, pass a check to be able to scale it. They're 15 feet high. And it's like you would have to like finger grip it because there's no real good place for you to dig your fingers in.
So we do have to climb these walls though?
You
Is
don't
that what
have
we're
to.
saying?
I'm just saying that there's narrow ways, and right now your path is kind of hard to see, because you have to go through like each area. So like you can't see what lies ahead because
Okay, so if
what
I were
lies
to climb up, then I could see what lies ahead. Is that what we're
exactly.
saying?
You do not
Oh,
need
okay.
to by any means, but I just wanted to let you know that you can only see the immediate areas because of the way that this has been carved through. Probably from,
Cool.
by the looks of it, like the flowing of lava from many eons ago.
So is there be an athletics probably?
Yes.
If you had two immovable rods, you could like
Yeah,
you could
which would
just
be
like
cool.
ladder up anywhere you want to go. I just realized that.
Yup.
Immovable. Immovable.
All right, so that's gonna be an 11 on the way up.
Alright, so you're able to climb up a little bit of the way, but you're not all the way up. So you're probably, you make your way up halfway, just enough to like kind of, you're looking up and around. Um, and as you kind of climb halfway up, I'm just kind of gonna put you like on here ish, even though you're not all the way up. You see, 1 second, I need to get the picture. I probably should put 5e for this so that I don't get regular. Oh man, these things are gnarly.
Oh no.
1 second, it is in DDM's channel. You see this beast with many tentacles, with like these little, uh, what's it called? Spikes at the end of each tentacle and mouths.
What?
It reminds you a little bit of Cat in a way, in a bad way, with a pink eye, right in the center of its body. I actually forgot. For the purposes of this, I'm not going to have Wojtek in battle.
That's
We're
fine.
just gonna
Where the
pretend
fuck
that
do I see this? Is it on the wall?
it is on top, just chilling. Um, and it's kind of back is to you for a moment, um, and then as it turns around, it sees you as you see it. Let's roll for initiative.
No. Oh my god, it's gonna
And
be
you
a
could
21.
okay.
You just hear Ash like go ah, like his oh my god, that's fucking gross noise.
All right, so that'll be a 18 for Nor and a
Okay.
9 for Faye.
Okay. 1 second. All right. So first up is Ash. What do you do?
Oh god. How far up am I right now?
You're halfway up, so I'm just gonna say you're 10 feet up. So you could either drop, um, or you can make an athletics check to see if you could climb the rest of the way up.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna let this thing come to us, I think, because we're in a relatively okay place for battle. So
Mm-hmm.
he's just gonna. Can I make like an athletics check just to like drop and roll
Yeah.
and
I
pull
mean,
out my weaponry? And I mean that's probably all I can do
yeah.
right now.
So you can definitely drop down, no problem. You're not that high up where it's a bother. Now, would you rather take the dodge action and have your weapon out, or ready in action? You would only
Oh,
be
I'll
able to
take
make one
the
attack if you ready
I'll
the
take the
action.
dodge action for sure, because I don't know what this thing does, and I'm really just trying to get out of its way to let it get to us, because I don't want to be on my own with this thing. So,
Sounds good.
how big is it?
It is large.
Fuck. Okay,
So the
cool.
body
Yeah.
itself is probably like 3 feet, but the tentacles put it into the large range.
Okay. So it's like a dog plus
Mm-hmm.
a dog plus giant octopus.
Yup.
All right, cool.
Um,
Yeah, I definitely want to like drop and roll and take the dodge action. That's
Sounds good. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and then it moves down 5 feet. And it'll be in range. It's hovering about 10 feet in the air, but because it's large, it can still reach you all in melee range, which also means that, it has to disengage if it wants to move away. And it is going to make 3 attacks. The first, it's going to start with Nor because you have the light and it does not like that. So the first attack will be a 13. Does that hit?
you're muted.
My bad, my bad. It misses, and small thing. I would have cast Mage Armor when we got into when we
I assume
departed from them. So just wanted to say that. But yes, that misses.
And then it'll attempt again to attack you and roll even worse than that, so it will take its third attack at you because it wants to try and snuff that light out. That one will be a 26 to hit, though.
That'll hit.
So that is going to be. Oof. 22 piercing damage, and you are grappled by it.
All right, so it grabs onto me and pulls me in.
And
All right.
it looks like it's ready to. It's like its main mouth, which was hidden up until this point, just opens up as it starts grabbing and dragging you into it. Next.
So can we not reach it? Because it is
you
10
can.
feet away from us. Okay.
Yeah, you could reach the tentacles. Like the body mass is still kind of 10 feet into the air, but its tentacles are, kind of swiping at you, and it's kind of currently trying to lift Nor up towards it as,
Awesome.
Yep, and now it is Nor's turn.
So, all right. First of all, I said light are on my bracers of defense because that's kind of cool.
Nice.
And I will. I'm going to cast telekinesis.
Nice.
And I'm going to use my action to attempt to lift myself, like pull myself out of this creature's grasp and like get up onto the high ground or something like that.
So you're casting it on yourself?
Yes, but yeah, I can move and manipulate different things, right? Every turn I can pick something new.
Yep.
But for this turn, I'm planning on just moving myself.
So I would say a strength check against your spellcasting modifier, like your spell save.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know if it's my spell save or if I make a spellcasting ability check. You can attempt to move a huge or smaller creature. You make an ability check with your spellcasting ability contested by the creature strength check. So
okay, so a contested roll. All right, what's your roll?
23.
That's a 10.
All right, so I can move myself 30 feet. Can I get up? Can I lift myself and place myself on top of on the high ground here?
Yeah. So
all right.
You're looking to go over here?
Sure. Or actually, can we go up a little into up over into the left?
Yeah. So you got 5, 20, 25, 30 maybe.
All right, and I'm a little elevated. How high is the elevation?
15 feet.
Okay, so it would take 15 to get up there, right? And then
correct.
And then so as long as I can still see the action, I'm good. And I see another one. I'm assuming.
Yep, it is.
When I see the other one, I want to not be too close to the other one. Okay, I'll I'll be, you know, when I see, so like put me like to the left of C, like up and left of C, like maybe, yeah, like there, like
Right
up on the
here.
high ground, yeah.
Okay.
And I'll say another one up here, and that'll be my turn.
Sounds good. Next up is River, who is going to make a acrobatics check and does swimmingly. And will move up to the high ground. So that's 15, 20, 25. And we'll kind of like try, or they'll put themselves in a way to try and put themselves in between the thing and you, just because they know that you're a squishy wizard. And they will not get sneak attack. And they're a little winded, so they kind of rush up real quick, try and fire off an arrow, but it will go wide. And then we are at... Oop, wrong thing. I wish I brought up the right... we are at Faye. What does she do? And, sorry, Ash. You can have Cat... Cat will operate on your turn, so if you want to, after Faye's turn, do what Cat would have done last time. But go ahead, Faye.
Faye will go ahead and toss. Faye will cast Hold Monster
Nice.
on the thing. So, go ahead and make a. The DK1 needs to make a Wisdom saving throw.
Well, they're not great at those. So that'll be a 15.
Her spell save DC is a 17. So
Hey.
she whips out a hand and like suddenly just grips the strange tentacled beast, and as you see it, like it's suddenly all of its arms, which are like kind of like maybe like kind of tentacly like Medusa hair, and it's like they're like stuck in place. And she just looks at you. Have at it.
Ha. And does she move at all?
Well, now it can't attack because it's paralyzed. So
Correct.
she'll move over to like to the left, like out of its immediate attack range.
So like
But
here?
Yeah.
Okay. So she'll still be like she'll be able to kind of poke around the corner and still see it easily. What would Cat have done?
Cat would have gotten in position to flank with Ash, so just right there.
And just so you know, I don't have flanking bonuses.
Is this undead?
Yeah.
No, I know that there's no, it's more for flavor than anything else. They just it is more like this is how they, when they're fighting against one enemy, they flank, and if they're fighting against more than that, then they back to back.
Yep.
So so that's just what Cat would have done. Like Ash moves, it moves, like Cat moves, and then we'll attack. So like even though there are no bonuses for it.
Okay.
You know.
And is Cat attacking for last turn, or are they just staying steady?
They're gonna stay steady till Ash attacks.
Sounds good.
Quick question for DM: is it undead?
No.
Okay, if it
Go ahead.
Hold Monster does not work on undead creatures. That's all. I was just rereading the spell, and that's like the only caveat there.
Yep, you are good. So then next up is Death Kiss 2, who is going to 5, 10, 15. And we'll make 3 attacks at River. And we'll hit twice. For a good amount of damage. 1 second. Oh. Sorry, I forgot to long rest them. There we go. So you watch River take 2 tentacles right to the chest, and it starts trying to drag them in. And now we are back at the top with Ash.
Alright, so Ash and the Cat are both gonna make attacks.
Make 1 attack at a time.
Okay, I can do that. Sorry, okay. Alright. Ash, we'll
have
go first.
Advantage.
I have advantage?
It's paralyzed.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay, so that attack one is gonna be 18, 19, 19.
That will hit. Do the damage.
It's a critical hit.
Why?
Is it?
It paralyzed. Any attack that hits the creature is a critical hit if the attacker is within 5 feet.
Yo.
Automatically paralyzed is a
it
damn fine position.
Hold
Does it,
on, I need more.
Does
I
it
need more
continue to be
dice.
paralyzed for a duration, or does it have to make a save every time it takes damage?
No, it's for the duration.
Nice.
It's a 5th level spell, which only affects one creature. Oh, if she had seen both, she could have twin spelled it. Fuck. That's a great twin spell target. But alas, she couldn't see the other one when she cast it, so
Yeah.
you know. But twin spell's a pretty cool. It's a pretty cool spell.
Wait, no, we don't. We do. Fuck. That's I rolled the wrong dice. I'm in too many games, y'all, and we do critical hits a different way in every fucking game.
Yeah. I have like in my game, it's just I do what I consider the most charitable, and then but if the player one does it wrong, then it doesn't matter. It's just worse for the player, right? Like I just
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be 35
Jesus.
points.
Yeah, that fucks it up. You and Kat both take 2 points of lightning damage. As you make contact with it, the body just shoots off these electric sparks.
That's fine.
That hit the two of you.
All right.
But then you both have more attacks.
Yes, we did. Okay, so that's gonna be. So wait, all of my hits are critical.
yeah, because
Every
it's
single
paralyzed.
one.
Any attack that hits the creature is a critical hit if the attacker is within 5 feet. So
Well, that's gonna be 25. So I'm
Yep.
assuming. Okay, well that's with the other sword, so that's
Faye
actually.
wasn't kidding when she said "have at it." Like,
Yeah.
21.
Okay. You and Kat take 5 lightning damage from that attack. And then Cat attacks.
Nope,
Or
I have
you
one more.
bonus action.
Yeah.
It is now bloodied.
Technically, I guess the last one was my bonus action, and this one's my second attack. But you know, whatever. Yeah, that's a 17 on the die, so
Yeah.
definitely hits.
Fuck him up.
$39.
Jesus. Yeah, Ash single-handedly puts this thing onto death's door. Literally, if Cat hits, it's done. But on that third one, you both take another 2 lightning damage.
Okay.
single-handedly is a little. I don't know
That's
about that
true.
adjective.
Definitely not
with
single-handedly.
With Faye holding the shit out of this beast.
It would have taken me an extra 3 to 6 hits to get that thing down without Faye's help. So.
Yup.
Depending on how shitty I rolled for damage. Okay, Cat. So this is the first time I'm attacking with Cat. So we're.
Displacer beast stats.
Yeah, I had the I wrote them down and everything.
Haha.
Like a good player, I did my homework.
Yeah, so even though it's not quite like, just use the stats for simplicity's sake, even though it's not quite as big as
Yeah, for sure. That's not. Ooh, shit. All right, so missed on the first one for sure.
Okay.
Because I rolled a 2, so there's just no way. But the second one
Did you roll
was
with
a.
advantage?
Oh no.
So what was that second one?
So I lied. The first one would have been a 20.
Yep. I mean,
To
it
hit?
has 5 HP left, so there's no way that.
Yeah, so the Displacer Beast can do a minimum of 5 damage, so no
Yeah.
matter what it is.
And
it did 7.
Yeah. You each take 1 lightning damage as the beast just collapses onto the ground in front of you both, and Cat, having just swiped at its body, pins it to the ground and gives a low growl, and then immediately looks up at you with big eyes for approval. Going from like poking bees to like, did I do it right?
If you will let me flavor text that ferret from pocket to mouth, I will
Yeah,
I will do that.
rewarding.
Yeah, always got a reward, because man, this Displacer Beast, if it ever goes feral, is gonna murk me like that lady whose like chimpanzee took off her face. Like
Yeah.
that.
Fun fact, my friend and I were playing Metal Gear Solid 4 for the first time, like as soon as it came out. And there's a lot of like surreal things that happen all over the radio in Metal Gear Solid 4. And my mom was listening to that Gorilla Face story in the other room, and the two of us both thought that it was just ambient radio noise from Metal Gear Solid. Until the next day, it was still being talked about and we're not playing the game.
Oh my god.
And
That's ridiculous.
do y'all move at all?
Yeah, okay, hold on. Let me. Oh shit, that's not what I want to do. Well, we'd have to climb up to get to this DK2, right?
Correct.
Well, I mean, I think the cat has a climb speed. Maybe? Shit, dude. This cat has fucking reach of 10.
Jesus.
I didn't realize that until right now. Let me. I don't know. How do you want to do climbing cats?
It has to make a what's it called?
What's the name of it? It's a beholder.
It's a
It's the
Displacer
Displacer Beast.
If it doesn't have a climb speed, I would just say that I'm gonna use a Tabaxi thing where they have a climb speed of 20.
I'm looking it up.
So regular speed is 40 feet, but they don't break down speeds. It just says
actually, yeah, that means that it doesn't have a climb speed. Like if some creatures actually will say climb speed 40 feet or climb speed 20 feet or something. So if it's not there, it means it doesn't exist. But of course, DM can rule. It's a cat. Cats are pretty good at climbing things.
Yeah, I think that it should have a climb speed of 20 on most surfaces. I think it still needs to make an athletics checks for this particular surface because, like, if it was climbing a tree, that'd be easy. But this is rock.
So many muscles on this thing.
I know, they're beefy boys.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, that's gonna be a sweet 15.
Yeah. And are you looking to have it go over here or up in melee with the other Death Kiss?
We're gonna go up in melee with the other Death Kiss.
What's the movement path that it takes?
Alright, so I think I might actually have Cat double move.
It made an attack, though, so it can't.
Oh, yeah, I can't. Wait, yeah, we're not at the top of the next round. Yeah, so it's just gonna move into position to climb to be flanking. So we're gonna go over to the right 1 square and up.
Wait, hold on. This is over to the right.
Oh, sorry, left. Sorry,
Okay.
I can.
And then does it go up or?
So it's gonna go to the map north 4 squares, and then it'll climb up next time.
As that happens,
Shit.
it steps.
What the fuck is that?
On a beast that was virtually imperceptible, up until it lashes out when something gets into melee range of it.
All right.
One
All
second.
right.
It was laying on its underside. 1 second. And it flaps its wings around and like kind of wraps around Cat's head. 1 second, I need to have it make an attack.
So attack rolls have disadvantage, by the way.
Yep. So that's good. With disadvantage, that is a 9. Does that hit? I don't think it does. Their AC
I didn't
is 13.
calculate their AC. 13? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
No, it does not.
So it just, it flaps its wings around and it does not, it grabs onto him, so he can still move, but this thing is now on top of him and kind of
Cool.
wrapping around its head as Cat.
Does that mean that it's
moves.
in 5-foot radius of me right now?
No.
Wait,
Because
why is
it's.
Cat up there?
I thought you say you were having him flank.
No, this time he was moving 1 over to the left and then 4 north, but not up the cliff.
Okay,
Just
so
he was getting into
this.
position to flank.
Okay, so this will just carry with him and just keep trying to.
Right. I'm really sorry,
attack.
Kelly, but it is 1 square down from where you just put it.
Sounds good. One second.
Okay, that's fine. I will go over there and mark this thing. That's fine by me.
And as Cat moves up, another one has
No!
and
Bitch ass, I'm gonna have to tell Cat to fucking run.
and Cat just starts yowling as it attempts to attack him. And with a disadvantage, that's 214, so it is going to bite him. For 1 second.
Get off my cat, bitches.
I'm sorry. What does C1 and C2 look like?
9 points of damage.
They look like 9 points of damage.
No,
Sorry,
no,
that
no.
was funny.
It's in DDM's chat. It's the second one.
Oh, I missed that it was an. Oh, fuck that.
These bitches. That's rude.
Sorry that I missed that.
Yo. So Cat just blows through these 2 cloakers that just start wrapping around him, and by the looks of it, you can tell that they are in the midst of trying to suffocate him.
Well, that's not gonna happen.
It is now
If
North's
they,
North.
Yep.
So 2 questions. 1, can I see what's happening to Cat? And 2, is there any like heavy big rocks floating around?
So yes, you can.
Well,
you can kind of
not
like peer
floating
over.
yet. Not floating yet.
Yeah. So you saw definitely what happened over here the first time to Cat, and as he walked over, you heard it happen again. So even though you can't see him from your current position, you know that you know where he is in a way, because it's just a whole mess of like dust getting kicked up and tentacles flying and cloakers flapping. You can see that like this area right here has a rock that looks like it could get toppled over.
All right, I'm gonna run up and behind DK2. And then I'm going to grab C1, and I'm just gonna. I want to like.
You're 15 feet in the air though. You can't grab.
Yeah,
your current position.
telekinesis, baby.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'm gonna grab them with telekinesis, and I know. And no, it's a contested my intelligence against their strength check. I don't get to use my. I don't get to use my like. It's just an ability check. I don't get to add my proficiency modifier to this, or do I? When I'm doing this thing with telekinesis, just a question. It says you may make an ability check with your spellcasting ability. Yeah. So I just don't know what, as it says spellcasting ability rather than like. So I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna roll.
So it's just a straight ability check between the two of you. You're not doing adding
well, that's
either
good.
of your proficiencies.
Natural 17, so 22.
No, it's a 3 on the dice.
All right. So I grab them, and I want to be able to. I can move them freely 30 feet. I just want to go. And just keep hitting him because like it's between 2 walls, right? And just like slamming him into the walls as I'm pulling him away. So I don't know if that does. If that could do some amount of bludgeoning damage, that would be nice.
D4 bludgeoning for each hit. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, so 64.
Yep.
Okay, so that'll be
boom, 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 boom.
6, 9 plus 5, 14 damages. Boom, 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 and I just slam him in the back. And so 1 is off.
Yep.
And that'll be my turn.
Sounds good. This one is going to it's mad. And they're fairly intelligent creatures, so they are not a fan of this. So they're going to make a perception check and see that you were the one that did that, just because you're kind of just, you just finished, making this movement with your hand, and you're looking right at them so they can tell that it was you. And it is going to, I think they have a hover speed. Yeah. They are going to move up towards you.
Oh, C1 is going to. Okay.
Yep.
Don't forget, if it's prone, that does actually add.
Hold on. I need to double check exactly what telekinesis says. Okay. You win the contest. You move the creature up to 30 feet, including upwards, but not beyond the range of the spell. Until the end of your next turn, the creature is restrained in your telekinetic grip, so it can't move. It's got the restraint condition.
It just stares at you angrily.
Yeah, so it makes that. But I think what it still can do at that point, it can create illusory copies of itself. It's kind of like an innate thing, so it's going to instead essentially mirror image itself, and you watch 3 sort of weave back and forth in the space that the one exists in.
Good thing that thing didn't get up on me. Yeah, that's like the good part about telekinesis. You can move it and you can restrain it. But I like being able to smash things. Thanks for that.
What's it called? River's going to drop their bow and pull out a short sword and try and hit Death Kiss number 2. And they will have advantage because they bonus action aimed. They will hit but not sneak attack it. I mean, hit but not crit it is what I meant. They will sneak attack it. I just have to see how many sneak attackies they get.
They're a rogue druid?
5d6, yep. Fun fact, they were a rogue but became a druid when they met Lucky because they wanted to be animal friends together.
That's the cutest.
19, 22, 25 plus 4, 29 points of damage to Death Kiss 2. And it's not quite bloodied, because that's the first blood that's been drawn. But did a good chunk. And next up is Cloaker 2, who is going to continue to attack Cat.
Munch on Cat.
Nom 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 nom. With disadvantage. Well, that's a nat 1. And then the second, well, I'm gonna do that as this. So it's that one, then its second attack will probably also miss because the lower was a 5 on a die and 11 does not hit. So even though it's literally flapping around him and trying to like engulf its head, it can't attack this fucking cat. And it starts hissing angrily. It is now Faye's turn.
Faye is going to move forward until she can see DK2 and C1.
Okay.
And how are they both like looking? Not within range, like next to Ash.
What do you mean?
Not within melee range of
sorry.
C1. God. Which one looks like, how hurt do they both look? C1's taking a little bit, but I don't know if they're.
They're both looking just fine right now.
Okay, so all right. So then she can do a little bonus damage on this, but we'll just wait. She's gonna cast Firebolt, and she's going to use one sorcery point to cast to twin spell it, so that it hits both DK2 and C1.
Word. I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick. But their AC is 14 for the both of them.
All right, AC is 14. So I'm just gonna roll. Blue dice is the DK2. So that'll be a 19, and then the other one was a 17, so that'll be 26. So per layout, they both hit. Now this firebolt does 3d10 damage, and the one that hits DK2 is going to do an additional 5 damage because she has this thing, elemental affinity. When she does the damage associated with her draconic ancestry, which is fire, she can add +5 damage to 1 damage roll of that spell. So at the same time, you can spend a sorcery point to gain resistance to that damage type for an hour. Oh, it's yes. So she doesn't need to do that because there's no fire damage. But all right. So that the first one, oh my gosh, that's 995. So that's
That's
18 plus
beautiful.
18 plus 5, 23. So 28. And let's go ahead and I can maybe like put that in the D&DM's chat or something. So
Mhm.
28 to DK2, and then just a straight 3D10. Oh, blah, 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 dice. I just drop the dice whenever I try to roll multiple dice. I don't even. It's not even a dice tray problem. Like, because once they hit the table, they're fine. It's like in my hand, I drop them so often.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that'll be that's another 22. So
Nice.
to so 28 damage to DK2 fire and 22 fire damage to C1.
Okay, that actually does it for both of them.
So yeah, you see her like finger guns, like point in two different directions. Poof, like a fireball just shoots out from her hands and and just like smashes into both of them, and they're both like instantly incinerated in flames.
Nice.
That is so fucking beautiful.
She's
And
a pyro. Like that's her whole build is pyro.
yo,
I also learned today that one thing that sorcerers can do that's one thing that's actually cool about sorcerers besides twin spell, which is the only good meta magic. I'm just kidding. Subtle spell is really great too, but
mhm.
I didn't realize that they got proficiency in Constitution saving throws. Like that's their base
Damn.
proficiency. Like that's actually kind of good, right? Because it's easier to hold on to your spells then.
Mm-hmm.
They're the only caster in the game that gets that, but they're still bad. Everybody. They just need the subclass spells. Subclass spells would fix so much.
All right, Ash, it is now your turn.
All right. Obviously, gonna go save Cat.
Mm-hmm.
So gonna just run up to C2 and try to murk it. They're a medium creature, yeah.
They
small
are
or-
large.
They're large.
They're
Lovely.
large.
That's hot. Okay. Okay. That's gonna be a dirty 20 then.
That will hit.
Alright. That's going to be 9 plus 8 is 17 damage.
Okay, so you notice, as you carve into it, you hear Cat yowl. And some of that hits Cat, and only some of it hits the cloaker. You notice that like it's able to sort of like move its what's it called, apron, so that like the brunt of it gets shared between itself and whatever it is currently grappling.
Cool. Can I attempt to grapple this thing back for my second attack?
Mhm.
Instead of... Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So is this just like a strength contestation? Like, how do you do it? That's a 19 on the die, whatever we're doing.
Yeah, it would be a strength you were gonna have to add it because it did roll a nat 20.
Oh.
So you have to beat a 23.
Well,
no,
awesome, because
yeah.
I got it at the 24.
Hey, so you're able to grapple it. So,
That's awesome.
so right now it's grappling Cat, you're grappling it, and like you're trying to drag it while it's trying to maintain its grip on Cat.
Yeah. Cool. And then Cat can attack because he's only grappled, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so fast attack is gonna be a 19.
That will hit.
Okay, so that is a d6 plus 4. 5. And then the second...
So pause. Some of it, so it carves into its own back at the same time as it. So
What?
that's
Why isn't it hitting me?
because it is grappling Cat. So when Cat attacks the thing that is currently grappling it, it's one of the Cloaker's abilities.
Okay, fine. How much does it take?
2. It just takes half of whatever damage is done to it. While attached to a creature, the Cloaker takes only half damage dealt to it, rounded down, and that creature takes the other half.
Okay, cool. Then Cat's not gonna do anything else. Not gonna make that second attack.
Sounds good. Next up is Nor.
I want to try to telekinetically grip the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's natural 20 on
Dirty
the
20, so you win.
25 on
Yep.
mine. So that's good. So I'll grab it, and I just want to lift it off of. I want to pull it off of its suckers. I want to like kind of collapse it a little bit. So I'm assuming that I can lift it up like 10 feet, or I can move it a total of 30. So I'm gonna move it up 15 feet, and then just sorry about that.
That was good.
Like lift it and then just slam it into the ground, like which I assume would do like a fall damage of
I would say
15 feet, or
I was
maybe
gonna
double.
say if you're slamming it, double it.
All right, I'll do that.
1 second. It will be here.
Double sixes on the dice.
Yo.
So that'll be 12 bludgeoning damage, and then it is restrained, and so that means you guys all have advantage on attacks against it. No auto crits though, like with the paralyzed.
Yup. It is now River's turn. Who is going to 5, 10, 15, 20, and throw a dagger down at it. And will hit. And technically it gets sneak attack on this dagger, doesn't he? Or no, because it's a strength based, so it's not a finesse. So that will just be.
Throw is strength based?
Well, I mean, not strength based, but it's not finesse, is the point. Like a dagger is not a finesse weapon. So, that will be 7 points as they max damage, and this cloaker's not long for this world.
I think that it is simple weapons and finesse. I don't know that it's just because daggers are like their thing.
1 second. I'm just gonna look because it's important. Let's see. First level, must use a finesse or a ranged weapon. So it does have a throw, but ranged is not throw.
Throw is ranged though. Like, does it say? I mean, throwing is a ranged attack.
Okay. Yep. It can. So never mind. I just didn't want to OP it. So 11, 14. 24, and we'll actually murk it with that.
Hot.
So there's a brief moment as River goes in and with the icing on the cake just throws the dagger and gets it right between its eyes, and Cat just shakes his head and spits like angrily, like the angry cat noises. And its hackles are raised and it's pacing around anxiously, like sniffing at the floor, but is not moving very far.
Yeah, I will definitely just comfort Cat.
Yeah, give me an animal handling check.
Ooh, that's a 17 on the die. So that's gonna be a 23.
Yeah, you reach out and gently soothe them, and Cat will eventually relax a little. And even though we're only partway through the map, I think that is a good place for us to end today and pick up discussion.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Cool. That was fun. I always love, as a DM, having those little kind of triggering things, like things that... and like, I know that as a player, it probably doesn't feel good where it's like, oh yeah, unless you, like it says, like, they are invisible, when they are laying like that. So, I mean, if someone was specifically scouting and looking and doing carefully and you were, like, 10-foot pulling it, then yes, you would have found it. But, like, I also like those sorts of, combats where you find one thing and then you get surprised by the second. And I think that makes for really fruitful encounters.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that it's fine.
Yeah, I like being able to I cast one spell. I like the spells like telekinesis, where it's like you cast it and then you just get to do this kind of fun, weird stuff every turn where you're like, I'm gonna rip myself out of its grip and put myself somewhere else, or I'm gonna grab something and just throw it across the cavern, right? Bouncing
Definitely.
it in. Like
Yup.
that's always really fun.
Those
Uh,
death kisses are nasty too. Like, and here's the other thing. Like, it's tough to balance with the party of four, especially without healers, and when three of those people aren't really tanky types of, and especially the opposite of tanks in a way. But I really like the flavor of the cloakers and the death kisses. So,
Well, I
um,
mean, I also think that like one of our strengths as a party is our ability to um use our abilities in
mhm,
ways that you wouldn't normally see them used in combat,
mhm,
so that like even our non-tanks aren't useless in the same way that they can be useless
mhm.
in other spaces.
mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
No, Faye with the hold monster came in clutch because that one was nasty. If it got to do its like drain kiss,
mhm.
not fun.
No bueno. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that old monster is a pretty good spell. I mean, I don't know how many combats we're gonna have today, but I mean, we did blow two fifths, so
Mhm.
that could come back to bite us. But it felt appropriate in the moment.
Yup. Absolutely.
I've been trying when you play a higher level spellcaster, you obviously do want to like try to save your spells and stuff for like those big moments, but you also just like that's like a spell like telekinesis, right? I essentially cast that fifth level spell 3-4 turns in a row, right? So like that
Mhm.
that worked out pretty well. You just kind of got to be like just make sure you're getting the value out of them. But the problem is like I've seen players like sit and like cast cantrips every turn because they don't want to like what if I need my big spell later, and then it's the past the final thing and they still haven't like used their big boy spell slots, and it's like, oh man, like you could have been
Yeah.
doing cool stuff.
Yup. I actually so I did the tournament module that you just did, but for a level 5 party that are starting in Taijo right now. Because I was like, you know what, that was fun. It's fresh in my mind. I'm just gonna have them do this and just uh, re-level it so that it's appropriate for a level
It'd be
5
funny to
party.
not re-level it just so that they just
Yeah, they
make
just
it
go in
way
and
harder.
lose. And I have an artificer and a wizard in that, so they still earn the artifact, and they're going to probably take a lot longer to figure it out than you are because you have a lot more, access, and it's going to be one of those long-term puzzles. But one of the things that they said that they really enjoyed about that particular style of like dungeon crawl is that they were able to know how many like levels there were and how many rounds there were so that they can budget their spell slots, where like in a dungeon crawl you don't know where the end is, so you might be budgeting for, over budgeting in a way, and you'll get to the
Yeah.
end without using your cool stuff.
Yeah, like I think because it's a game, right? Like some amount of management of those things is fun,
Mm-hmm.
but just don't be afraid to just like if you think that it would be cool to cast Hold Monster or Telekinesis here, just do it, right? How like you know
Just
what I mean?
do it. The
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
Shia LaBeouf.
yeah, or I guess it's Nike as well.
That
But
too.
I mean, but like D&D is a game about having fun, right, and doing cool shit. Like so, like if you have a cool thing that you want to do while you're playing, just do the cool thing, and it will. You might even have more fun because you have less options later, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
so, if it comes to that.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
like
I
don't.
mean, use
Yeah.
it where it's strategically appropriate.
Hmm.
Like I think healing is the only place that I'm like budget, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because keeping us at full is not nearly as important as getting someone back up.
Yep.
And so it's like, well, I only have X amount of damage on me now, so don't waste it
Hmm.
um too early. I mean, we have a lot of like get you back up spells, but we don't have a lot of like you're really hurt and now we have to do something about it spells.
There's just
Yeah.
less of those spells in general in the game.
You
We
got
just we don't
heal.
have our pallies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh,
One thing I like about 5e is that you don't need the healers as much as you do in like other games.
yeah.
Um, You know, like there isn't like even in the worst of, or even in like the biggest of parties, you don't necessarily, you know, there's no, you shouldn't have like a dedicated healer or something like within your
I
party.
mean, the thing is like I actually really love playing a dedicated healer. Like Tolly
Mhm.
was an awesome fucking character, and
Hmm.
Yeah,
like
I miss her
she was
already.
technically a dedicated healer, but also could be more than that, and I appreciated that, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, like, I guess I completely agree with you because healing can be really fun. Like, it can feel great to be like, oh man, like I swung that like the outcome of the game because I had this clutch heal, right, which brought back, you know, and like feeling like you're supporting the team, right, and stuff like that. I think that can be great, but sometimes there can be like an attitude, or you can feel like, especially if you're playing like a healing class, um, like I have to be the healer, right? I don't get to do like the cool stuff or be like the hero or something. Like some people might feel that. Some people might feel that way, right? I'm not,
yeah,
but if you want to be that healer, I think you can do that in 5e,
I mean, I
but
think
you don't
that
have to be them.
particularly higher level clerics actually have some really hot shit.
Yeah.
Like, and
Definitely.
not necessarily stuff that like not necessarily stuff that's like, and I fireball and end the fight. But like if you
Hmm.
prep a good cleric, like you prep that cleric good enough and you know what
Mhm.
you're walking into, you do enough research, then you can do things like with your team kill a lich in 2 rounds.
Hmm.
Right? Like
Thanks for
cuz if
that.
Tolly hadn't been there, that would have been a really different fight.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Like, you know,
A
like if
turn
we hadn't
undead
been
was
able to turn
crit.
those undead like right then, like it would have been that would have been quite the fight in a way that it wasn't. Um and I think that clerics just take more prep than other classes. It requires a little bit more strategery. Like I had to, you know, like at a certain level, like there were 3 or 4 spells that I would just do right before combat, like
Mhm.
one after the other. And
Freedom
you
of
just have to
movement.
spend right, like you have to spend those turns doing that, or you have to like kind of have some like, okay, I should do this right now,
Mhm.
because like we're about to walk into something. Um, and it took some time. Like Tolly went down a few times in the first part of the campaign. Like there was some learning curve there with Tolly too, even though she started off pretty high level, because we started off pretty high level and then just like
Mhm.
kept climbing, you
Hmm.
know. And that took like by the end, Tolly was just like on it, you know.
Mhm.
But like, and because I knew what the fuck to do with her. But at the beginning, like that took some. There was a learning curve with that cleric in a way that I haven't. Like I don't like, you know, when you have a rogue, like your planning and your stuff like is all in the character creation. Like you want to make sure it's built well.
Hmm.
But like in the moment, you really have one thing to do. How can I sneak attack?
Hmm.
Like how do I get up to the enemy? How do I sneak attack? Like how do
That's
I
like
build
your
a
mini
character
game
that can
every.
sneak attack? Right. And it's, you know, but with a cleric it's a lot different. Like there's just more strategic shit you have to keep in mind. And
Yeah.
like I really like that style of play. Not everyone does. And that's totally fine. I think that oftentimes clerics get a bad rap
Mhm.
because they're the heal bot. They don't get to do anything cool. They don't get to do any of the cool
They do some
moves.
real cool
They don't
shit.
like finish. You know, they can't ever finish the fight. Like they, you know, like oh, you're just the support character. And I don't know that I've ever played a character that I would consider just the support character.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Are they a support class? Like, do they definitely need to do some of the things that are support in battle sometimes? Sure. Like, is it like sometimes you got to decide, am I going to heal this dude right now or I'm going to attack? Like,
Hmm.
which way, like, where are my services better used? Whereas, like, with a rogue, unless you have a healing potion, the only thing you do is attack. Like,
Mhm.
so I think, like, for me, like I have had some clerics. Like I once took out with Ashby Jones. I once took out like 60 people all at once in a Pathfinder 1e game. Like with a high level cleric. Because clerics there have like a radius that they can do like heals in, and there were a bunch of undead, and so I was just like in the middle of this undead space and just like murked everybody because I had a series of feat trees that allowed me to do some ridiculous shit. So I think that like I don't know, clerics I feel like get this bad rap of being a support class, and they aren't actually. They could be beefcakes. You just
Mhm.
like you just have to have I think a little bit more. Like you have to get there with clerics. Like you have to learn the game well enough to be able to understand that.
Hmm.
You know, because the first time I played a cleric, they were definitely heal bot only, and then after that, I was like, oh wait, no, they can be more than that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think yeah, I guess what I was trying to say before was kind of along those lines, which is that like like don't pigeonhole classes, right? Like don't
Yeah,
think
for
like
sure.
oh it's the cleric, they're the heal bot. Like that's not really how this game works. Most classes are pretty everyman-y. Like they can do multiple things. The exceptions are are there. Like I think um the rogue and fighter are generally speaking, even the fighter can be like you can veer towards like more of like a tanky like control the battlefield fighter with like a battle master, or more of a offensive striker who does tons of damage like a samurai.
Hmm.
And so, but yeah, that's one of the reasons why when I'm DMing, I very often like I say like classes don't exist in the world, like right, like don't like base your interactions or expectations on the characters because of like class, because your character doesn't know what a class is,
Hmm.
like your character just lives in the world and is powerful and surrounded by other powerful people.
I think it's changing gears a little bit, and I know that we're getting towards the end of the discussion, but I wanted to return to sort of like passing of time and sort of different aspects of long form D&D gaming, because like I sort of had this plan for the Dragonborn once you all sort of once the old party set them off on this path. I was like, they're definitely going to. This is going to be like the Dragonborn city. This is going to be like the first Dragonborn city in this new era, and it's going to like be a historical place. And that was back in episode like what 6 or 7 that you all did this. And
Hmm.
now we're in the 80s. Um, and like when you split ways, I was like, all right, this is the sort of thing that's going to happen. It's like really fruitful for me to see this new place that was once a place of enslavement become a place of growth. And
Hmm.
I enjoy that as a DM, but I'm not sure how you know what does good passage of time look like for a player? What makes for engaging interactions over the course of time, both for things that they did, but also places that they encountered? Not necessarily a choice that you made, but when you came back, something changed. You're like, oh.
Feels good to see things like change, right? Like from a player perspective, like it makes the world feel like dynamic, and that like your actions like matter and things like that, right? Like the world is like we can see clearly like oh we made an impact on like this place, like it is different than the way we left, you know what I mean, than it was when we found it. And I think that's a good feeling as a player, because that's something that most like video games and things like in World of Warcraft, right? I don't know, you can not to disparage World of Warcraft overly so, but right, like you go and you do the quest to kill, I don't know, the tigers for quest giver 346, and then the tigers are just back, right? And like the
Mm-hmm.
game, you know what I mean? But in D&D, you can kind of be like, no, you guys did this thing, and now the world is different. Like this city exists because of some of your actions earlier. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the NPCs, they're gonna keep doing their thing, while you're not around, and but you can be part of it when you are around. I think that that's all good.
Mm-hmm. I felt a little bad with the hallucinatory terrain for you as a illusion wizard, but like your passive arcana wasn't high enough for the DC of the terrain. And the one time you did a check, it wasn't specifically about like to investigate the nature of it. So I'm like, oh man, you're gonna just take this, and then at the end of it, I'll be like, fuck. But
I didn't mind. I thought it was all reasonable.
yeah,
Um, like just because you it's that that'd be like saying like, well, I'm sorry you're an evocation wizard, but you still got hit by the fireball. Well, of course, right? Like
true.
I may know the nature of illusions better than the average person in applying them, but that doesn't mean I can't fall prey to them.
Yeah. So that was like a fun thing that I wasn't sure whether or not, because like if you saw through it, you would have just been able to just stroll on through, but instead we got to watch Ash shout because he got a little steamy on his feety.
A little steamy. That's 75 fucking damage.
I know, a ridiculous amount. Um, but yeah, Leia, did you have more to say about sort of long form bureaucratic D&D?
I mean, it's something that we've talked about a couple of times now, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just kind of excited to see where it goes because it's so rare that we get to play kind of like that long form, kind of like here are these goals that are going to take months or possibly years, and now we're gonna see them come to fruition. And this, like for instance, this city, which has like, like this city coming to, because there's a chance that we would have come back earlier, and seen something different. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
um or had to kill the Inquisition because they hadn't gotten there, they hadn't been able to do it yet, or
Mm-hmm.
um you know walked in and fucked things up because we didn't know, that there was a resistance brewing or whatever, like there are lots of, so it's, I don't know, I always think it's cool to have like the world changing around you and the DM kind of knowing how those things are gonna happen, and like not everything can happen because we did something either, like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
shit's gonna happen because other people are doing things that don't impact us actually until we kind of happen upon them, may have never even come up. um
Mm-hmm.
as a DM, it's really fun. For me, like when players encounter things that I set up, like way before, and then it's like, okay, now you finally get to like see this stuff, um and what has changed from these plans that were, months or in this case years ago.
Yeah.
um
Good lord.
because that was literally like a year and a half ago,
Yup.
which is
Hmm.
crazy.
Yeah, the only thing that maybe muted it a little was the distance of time. Like in this case, like the thing changed over time, yes, and that was awesome. But it was also like I had to be like, oh, okay, well, what happened then? Like, you know what I mean? Like try to remember, like, because like as a player, it has been so long, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So like I had to like kind of mentally be like, all right, I need to put myself in the frame of mind as like a character who was here like a year ago, like you know what I mean, and like try to remember like how they might feel about it as opposed to me being, whereas things a lot of times
Right.
in D&D are a little more immediate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and like if Ryan and Corey had been here too, like it would have been a very different moment as
Hmm.
well, because
Mm-hmm.
y'all are the ones that originally experienced it. Where like Ash is like, I mean, this is mostly new. Like he knows the Dragonborns, like he knew for now, um,
Mm-hmm.
and he knows Ace, and that's epic
Mm-hmm.
to see like what they have done, and what they have been able to accomplish, and that's really cool. But this is all new territory for him, so he's just like, what the fuck is even happening? I don't even know. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was a fun session. I am
Yeah.
Hmm.
looking forward to the rest of the dungeon crawl next week. I am really excited to see the next couple of
Telekinesis
encounters.
lasts for 10 minutes and it's only been about 30 seconds,
Yep,
so
I
let's
want
rush
to
off
make
and
note of
have
that.
another fight. Quick, rush forward, attract an enemy. I still have telekinesis.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right. But thank you for playing, chat. Thank you for joining, and we will see y'all next week.
Yeah, for sure.
bye.
Bye.